The film opens at a small house where a girl wakes up and begins her day. After finishing her bath, she looks at herself in the mirror and remains silent, her face completely expressionless. Once everything is done, the girl slowly puts on her uniform and steps out of the house, but seems startled by some kind of illusory scenery. After regaining her composure, she gets into a car heading to school, driven by her private chauffeur right to the gate. The moment the girl steps out of the car, she immediately breaks into a smile with a radiant glow that makes everyone look up and greet her, revealing her name to be Nishino Akane. Although she always smiles at everyone, when standing before Kajino, the boy she hates the most, no matter how uncomfortable she feels, she still forces herself to smile brightly to greet him. Kajino is a boy with below-average academic performance, below-average athletics, ordinary appearance, and he keeps calling her by the wrong name. After Akane gently reminds him that her name is not Nishimura, Kajino explains that he was just a bit drowsy, and anyway he remembers important characters pretty well. Akane feels even more annoyed inside as they have been deskmates for more than 3 months now. After talking for a while with Kajino still not remembering her name, the bell finally rings and both head to class. What annoys Akane most about this classmate is that Kajino completely ignores her unlike other students, seemingly always oblivious to everything. In class, students gather around Akane's desk to talk with her about the upcoming movie. After all, she is an actress. While Akane chats with classmates in one corner, Kajino just silently counts in his head as if waiting for something. After a while of socializing with classmates, Akane finally goes to the restroom, the only place where she can be herself. After a past incident that forced her to pause her career as an entertainer, Akane has since always worn a perfect mask of friendliness in front of everyone. On the rooftop, Kajino silently reads some mysterious book. After school ends, everyone goes their separate ways with different recreational activities. Only Akane stays behind in class for supplementary study to build her image as a model student in front of teachers. While studying, music echoes from the school building as Kajino plays a piece with a strange melody on the floor above. Only when it gets dark does Akane finish her study session. She calls her private driver, unaware that he is being surrounded and attacked by a mysterious group. Kajino just silently stands on the rooftop looking down at her figure. Unable to contact her driver, Akane has to walk home. Walking alone at night as a girl is indeed not good, and Akane is easily surrounded and kidnapped by the group from earlier. Before falling unconscious, she catches sight of Kajino's silhouette in the distance. After a while, Akane wakes up to find herself kidnapped to an unfamiliar place, with her hands, feet and mouth bound tightly. This group kidnapped her to threaten and extort money from the Nishino Corporation for their own gain. Kajino outside has recorded their conversation on video and quickly opens his bag to get something. The group waits but receives no response from her family and decides to do something despicable to her. This reminds Akane of a past incident when a stalker did similar despicable things to her. At this critical moment, Kajino does not hesitate to break through the upstairs window and jump in. He wears a mask to hide his face and calls himself the stylish thug slayer. One of them tries to grab a gun to attack, but Kajino is faster and deals with him first. The remaining one drops his gun, wanting to fight hand to hand. After all, he was once a professional soldier. The two quickly engage in combat, and after a few exchanges Kajino gains the upper hand. He uses the advantage of a crowbar as his main weapon, and this is not the first time he has risked himself for justice. Seeing the crowbar, the thug quickly recognizes Kajino as the legendary masked berserker from the rumors. Frightened, he tries to retrieve his gun, but Kajino swiftly deals with him mercilessly, beating him until blood flows continuously. Painful screams echo through the night. After finishing them off, Kajino slowly approaches and picks up a knife to free Akane from her bindings. He simply reminds her to be careful and quickly disappears into the night. Akane stands there bewildered, looking around at the scene, then quickly flees in fear. On the rooftop, Kajino removes his mask, looks at his wound and feels he still has not reached the level to become the Shadow Lord. Afterwards, police quickly get involved, and with the influence of the Nishino Corporation, the matter is settled. But the identity of the stylish thug slayer remains a great mystery. The next morning, Akane still wears her perfect mask to class and again meets that Kajino boy. Today Kajino remembers her name, which greatly surprises Akane, and she gradually feels that Kajino is someone like her, living behind a false mask. On another day at the Nishino residence, news on TV announces the death of Kajino Minoru, having been hit by a truck. Going back to Kajino's past, since childhood he has always admired someone, but it was not a hero like other children always loved. To become that person, Kajino always tried his best to achieve what he needed, always appearing ordinary at school, becoming an insignificant background character to avoid attention. But behind the scenes, he always worked hard through rigorous training. Even as other children grew up and forgot the figures they once admired, Kajino never stopped training and trying, just waiting for the day he would reach that peak. But looking at the masks and crowbar, Kajino gradually accepts the truth that continuing is meaningless. Perhaps what he has always dreamed of can never be reached. No matter how much martial arts he practices, he cannot be like in manga. He can only deal with petty thugs, and against experienced soldiers with full weaponry. The probability of logging out is too great, unless he becomes the world's strongest warrior. Even so, Kajino still feels it is meaningless, because no matter how hard he trains, if a nuclear weapon falls and destroys the world, everything becomes meaningless anyway. Therefore, Kajino's dream is to become someone who can stand against nuclear missiles. But in another world, where many non-human existences appear, with companions who always praise and agree to Kajino's requests, Kajino has finally been reincarnated into another world where he can achieve his aspiration. Not becoming the protagonist, not the final boss, but becoming the Shadow Lord with overwhelming power over all beings. Since childhood, Kajino has wanted to become the Shadow Lord. Right now, he is talking with a girl named Alpha. Alpha speaks of an ancient text that records the cult of Diabolos, an army with overwhelming power. Kajino confidently declares that they will hide in the shadows to hunt the shadows. Hearing this, Alpha smiles as if gaining more faith. Kajino thinks to himself, why do elf girls trust people so easily? Returning to the story, Kajino thought he had died from being hit by a truck, but suddenly opens his eyes as a newborn baby in a certain family. Seeing the two people who appear to be his parents worrying about his life, Kajino pretends to cry a few times. This seems to be a world where magic exists, something that can help Kajino fulfill his dream from his previous life. Kajino has been reincarnated into the Kajino family with the name Sid, a rural barren family. This family specializes in producing magic swordsmen, knights who use magic to enhance their bodies for combat. In this family, Sid lives under the shadow of his talented older sister, once again living as a completely ordinary background character just like in his previous life. That is the story during the day, but when night falls, Sid uses his power to deal with bandits in the village and neighborhood. He demands they hand over their money and uses his slime sword to deal with these bandits. With just a few slashes, he easily takes their heads. At this moment, another one attacks from behind. This one is a disciple of the Bushin style, so he has some potential. But Sid easily uses his slime bodysuit to protect himself and counterattacks. Those who lose their heads here are all to avenge the pitiful merchants they murdered. After dealing with them, Sid quickly inventories the goods to distribute and use more appropriately. Among these items, Sid suddenly finds a deformed monster as if possessed, with energy similar to magic going berserk. Sid feels this lump of flesh will be useful to him, and playing with it will be fun, so he takes it home to experiment on. After a month, he has managed to control the berserk magic of that lump. And from an ugly mass of flesh, after releasing the magic, it has become a beautiful blonde elf girl. Sid immediately wants to act like a Shadow Lord, so he quickly steps back to strike a cool pose. The elf girl is bewildered after learning Sid helped remove the consuming curse from her. Sid says the curse on her was cast upon the descendants of heroes. He takes out a book to prove his words are true. The 3 heroes who defeated the demon god Diabolos is a true story. Just before dying, the demon god cast that curse upon them. Some people have distorted history, making people like her become despised existences. While he is still talking nonsense, the elf girl wants to find those evil people. Sid makes up that it is the cult of Diabolos, those who plot to resurrect the demon god Diabolos. Sid's mission is to stop their schemes from the shadows, and he says his name is Shadow. Sid asks if this hero's descendant wants to join him. The elf girl completely believes him and agrees to his invitation. Sid continues his fabrications, naming their organization Shadow Garden, and the elf will take the name Alpha. Time passes, and it has been 3 years since Sid used his lies to recruit Alpha. He is now 13 years old, becoming an ordinary apprentice magic swordsman. Sid and his sister are practicing swordsmanship together, and although Sid has supreme skills, he still pretends to be clumsy to fool everyone. Having to attend to guests at a farewell party, his sister reminds him to practice diligently. Sid reminds himself to play his role well. Time passes until he is 15, and Sid prepares to enroll at the Midgar Magic Swordsman Academy in the royal capital along with his sister. But on that very day, his sister Claire has disappeared. Their parents are extremely worried, believing assassins have appeared and kidnapped their daughter. Sid quickly leaves the commotion, and beside him is Beta, a member of the Shadow Garden organization. Alpha has received news and quickly leaves to search for information about Sister Claire. According to this unprofessional intelligence department, Beta reports that Sister is still alive. The culprit is the cult of Diabolos who kidnapped Claire because they suspect she is a hero's descendant. Sid thinks to himself, ordinary bandits through this shadow organization's words have all become evil cultists now. Beta takes out a locator map, and Sid randomly throws a knife to one corner saying his sister is there, and Beta immediately believes it completely, automatically reasoning in that direction. Seeing Beta admiring him, Sid feels he acted too brilliantly. He orders Beta to quickly inform the Seven Shadows to prepare for action. Somewhere, a group has kidnapped Claire and imprisoned her in a dark dungeon. According to Claire, her younger brother Sid is very useful to her, but he is just an ordinary kid. Hearing the man opposite intends to kidnap her brother, Claire immediately springs up and breaks her chains wanting to fight them, but she is quickly punched hard by that man. At this moment, a subordinate runs in to report intruders, 7 enemies appearing everywhere, easily dealing with all the soldiers, meaning Sid and his 7 shadows are charging in. They introduce themselves as the Shadow Garden Organization, those who aim to eliminate the cult of Diabolos. The man named Olba immediately draws his sword to attack upon hearing the cult's name, but the girls of the organization have already surrounded him. Alpha does not rush to kill Olba, but wants to keep him alive to extract more information about the organization. But he bites a pill to enhance his combat power. Olba quickly smashes through a wall to escape, and everyone wants to chase him, but Alpha orders them to stop, because Sid is already waiting below. Everyone hearing this admires him even more. In reality, our Sid has gotten lost in this secret chamber, and by sheer luck happens to bump into Olba running back. Olba has magic power slightly greater than Alpha, but for Sid it is simple. He quickly advances while fighting and acting cool. With just a few slashes, Olba is beaten to a pulp, like a child fighting an adult. Before Olba's rage, Sid just smiles, making him even more furious and biting the rest of his pills. Sid still handles this power easily, using his terrifying amount of magic to finish his opponent. Kajino, after dealing with the man in front of him, quickly takes the photo of him and his daughter and leaves. The rescue operation ends. Claire returns home safely and quickly heads to the royal capital to study. At dusk, Sid is very interested in the royal capital, wanting to quickly go there to face other main characters with Shadow Garden. But right at this moment, Alpha and the others say it is time for them to leave here, to say goodbye to each other. This completely deviates from Sid's plan, leaving him bewildered. On a beautiful sunny day, Sid has come of age and is on his way to the academy. Based on the background developed from Sid's fabrications, Alpha's group believes the cult of Diabolos is a super large organization with world-scale operations. So to deal with all of them, they have scattered across the earth to complete their missions. Sid thinks to himself that some cult does not even exist. He believes they left because they grew up and no longer want to go along with his childish games anymore. Sid is not surprised. The more they mature, the more memories of heroes are forgotten. Losing a companion has become normal. Sid recalls his final moment in his previous life. From here we learn the cause of his death was from continuously banging his head against rocks, then running into the road, which is why he was hit and killed by a truck. After thinking for a while, the train is about to arrive at the station. Sid's next destination is the Midgar Magic Swordsman Academy, a prestigious school gathering students with bright futures from everywhere. But at the same time, there is certain discrimination between background characters and main characters. Instead of staying in premium dormitories, Sid can only stay in an ordinary dormitory. After preparing, Sid quickly goes down to meet up with 2 new friends who are also born background characters like himself, named Hayoro and Jaga. The 3 quickly run to catch the train to make it to school on time. Hearing his 2 friends complain about wanting to stay in the area for the upper class, Sid just laughs and tells them if they want that they need to become specially admitted students. The 3 of them talk about a previous bet where whoever gets the lowest score will have to confess to the academy's idol only to be harshly rejected. This is a standard background character event that Sid really wants to try doing, so he deliberately lost. The target they chose for this bet is Princess Alexia. Sid is not too worried because he spent all night thinking of the most perfect confession, the most background character-like confession. Time flies to the afternoon. Sid appears flushed and embarrassed standing before Princess Alexia. While in the distance his 2 friends are spying on this bet fulfillment. Sid trembles in a failed manner while confessing to the girl before him. This is step 1 of this background character plan. Step 2 is to run away after being rejected and fall down pathetically, and that would be perfect. But unexpectedly at this moment Princess Alexia seriously accepts this confession, shocking both Sid and his friends. How did he end up playing the male lead in a romance film like this? The next day, all of Sid's actions and gestures are stared at by everyone around him. Sid is extremely frustrated. Everyone does not understand why Alexia agreed to his confession. Right at this moment, Alexia suddenly appears wanting to sit and eat with Sid. Luxurious dishes are placed on the table. Sid does not hesitate to eat these dishes with her, also not noticing Alexia's observing gaze. But the plan to disappoint her has failed again, and Alexia even says she will recommend Sid to the first class group to practice the Bushin sword style. The 2 look at each other with loving eyes. In the afternoon, Sid's appearance in the first class does not surprise or confuse other students. After the opening, students quickly practice paired sword fighting. Sid spars with Alexia while finding her weaknesses. He quickly realizes she is quite inferior to her sister, but she is at least trying. Sid only fights at an equal level with Alexia, even performing movements exactly like hers. After class ends, Alexia approaches instructor Zenon to provoke him. Hearing their argument, Sid now understands why this girl chose him. It turns out he is still just a background character for the romance story of their arranged marriage. Alexia freely admits this, also knowing full well Sid confessed to her because he lost a bet. She wants to continue acting with Sid to make that instructor Zenon cancel the engagement, just needs to drag out the time. Seeing Sid not interested, Alexia throws out a gold coin, which indeed makes him obey like a puppy. After all, the allowance is not enough for the Shadow Lord's activities. Alexia satisfyingly pats her human puppy's head. Thus the two of them continue acting as fake lovers. Fortunately, everyone only cares that Alexia has a boyfriend, while he just needs to play the background character boyfriend role. Seeing that Zenon calmly talking with another female student, Alexia angrily drags Sid away quickly. On the way back, Sid boredly sits listening to Princess Alexia curse at instructor Zenon. They go shopping together on the street, line up to buy ice cream, then sit on the stairs to enjoy it. Sid asks the princess what exactly she hates about instructor Zenon. After all, he has money, status, is handsome, and famous too. Alexia says she hates his existence, believing it is all just a facade. After some bickering, Sid asks about instructor Zenon's weaknesses, and Alexia answers there are none. In this world, there cannot exist a person without flaws, unless they are a super liar or someone with mental issues. Sid thinks she is too one-sided, but with just one gold coin, he becomes a little puppy flattering her again. 2 weeks later, they are still acting as lovers with no further progress. On the train ride home in the afternoon, Alexia comments on Sid's swordsmanship, feeling that although it is very basic, it is very captivating. Sid comments that her swordsmanship today is also sloppier than usual. After a moment of silence, Alexia shares that she has always wanted to catch up to her royal sister Iris, and despite trying hard, her swordsmanship is still called the swordsmanship of an ordinary person. Sid says what is wrong with ordinary person's swordsmanship. He quite likes her swordsmanship. The train car is silent for a long while, and Alexia recalls when competing at the Bushin Festival. After losing the match, her royal sister said exactly the same thing. She thinks her sister does not understand her and also hates her own swordsmanship. Sid does not care much and still says he likes her swordsmanship. Right at that moment, Alexia swings her sword at Sid. Sid is neither scared nor surprised, just says he usually gets annoyed when something he likes is denied by others. That is his feeling. Right then the train stops, and Alexia silently gets off at the station. Sid still says nothing, but he knows perhaps this acting as lovers thing has ended. The next day at school, his two friends ask about the progress between Sid and Alexia, and he just says nothing new at all. Right as the three are talking at the school gate, instructor Zenon and two others approach as if waiting for them and block their path. According to Zenon, Princess Alexia still has not returned to the dormitory since yesterday. The Night Order is treating this as a kidnapping case and is conducting an investigation, and Sid is currently a suspect who needs to come in for questioning. Sid sees the people surrounding with swords outside the school gate and slowly bows down, hugging his head to cooperate with them. Alexia slowly opens her eyes, only now seeing herself tied up in some kind of prison cell. In the cell next door, a grotesque creature is also imprisoned here, just silently looking at her. At this moment, someone in a lab coat enters, excitedly wanting to take royal blood from Alexia. This person does not respond to any of her words, just takes out a syringe to draw blood, even saying her blood is the blood of the demon god. He wants to resurrect the demon god. Alexia does not understand anything but still finds it really sick. On this side, Sid is still being beaten by two guys who keep interrogating where Sid has hidden Princess Alexia. Sid being beaten has only one thought in his mind. These interrogators are overacting too much like hateful background characters, so he also cannot fall behind. He immediately gets into his acting role, continuously trembling and crying, showing pain. The two become even more gleeful, continuing the torture, while Sid just feels bored. How long does he have to keep acting? On this side, Alexia is still having her blood drawn continuously. The scientist suddenly goes crazy, screaming continuously, and Alexia just calmly provokes him to become even crazier. This guy then goes to the adjacent cell to torment the strange creature, and Alexia cannot help but call him to come take her blood instead so that creature will not be beaten anymore. The crazy scientist then goes out to get a bowl of rice and forces it into her mouth. Another mental torture session continues. A day passes. Zenon comes to meet Princess Iris to report on Alexia's situation. They all think Sid is most likely the culprit, but Zenon still feels this probability is quite low, so the two just have to wait for the next report. Everyone is still discussing this matter. Below, Claire hears news that her younger brother was arrested and goes crazy wanting to rescue Sid. but a blonde girl below firmly maintains order along with the prohibition from entering. Seeing Claire like this, Iris thinks about the sisterly bond that has cracked between her and Alexia. On the other side, Alexia has been drained of blood to the point of withering. Her whole body is filthy and covered with wounds everywhere. Scene changes to a certain building. Sid decorates his room beautifully and luxuriously. Thanks to earning gold coins from bandits and Alexia, he has been able to complete the Shadow Lord collection. He quickly places a letter on the table, and also quickly moves to position to continue acting. That night, Beta just steps in and hears Sid sitting in a chair speaking in a cool voice. She admiringly tells him everything has been fully prepared with over 114 people. Sid is surprised at such a large number, while Beta worries that is too few. Beta continues to report. The objective of this operation is to simultaneously raid all branch bases of the Diabolos cult's Fenrir division throughout the royal capital, while also investigating and rescuing Princess Alexia. The overall commander of the operation is Gamma. Front commander is Alpha. Beta is assistant. Epsilon handles rear support, and Delta will be the vanguard signaling the start of the operation. Beta is about to continue when Sid hands her a paper expressing that he will perform the opening to let the whole world know about Shadow Garden. This cool scene makes Beta even more infatuated and worshipful of him. On this side, two Night Order members are talking to each other when they see Sid coming down. They immediately throw one of Alexia's shoes at him to find an excuse to arrest him for tormenting the princess of the capital. They are about to advance and escort him when right at this moment, corpses of the guarding soldiers fall from the sky. Sid shows an innocent kind smile, while his slime has dealt with those two hateful guys for him. Before they can open their mouths to threaten, Sid has smiled with satisfaction, put on his cloak and advanced to deal with them. In the back, Beta quickly records the situation heroically about the bravery and strength of Shadow Lord Shadow Eka Sid. At this moment, a loud explosion sounds. Delta is madly slaughtering the people at the Night Order, even slicing off an entire large building. Princess Iris and Xenon are calculating how to handle the current situation. Everything is becoming more chaotic than ever. On this side, the crazy doctor curses while taking Alexia's blood and injecting it into the creature in the next room. Right at this moment, the creature, thanks to being injected with blood, has its magic power explode and becomes powerful. It immediately executes the crazy scientist. Alexia thinks she will be next to die, feeling extremely desperate when she sees the monster unlocking the door for her to leave. It immediately becomes larger than ever and emerges to the surface, causing the citizens to be terrified. Alexia cuts off her hand restraints and slowly picks up a sword to find a way out of this building. Right at this moment, Zenon suddenly appears. It turns out he is the one who invested in the crazy scientist, and this entire facility belongs to him. Alexia is both angry and relieved. At least her intuition about this guy was correct. Someone without flaws can only be someone with problems. Zenon invested in all of this to gain the 12th seat on the Round Table, a gathering of the 12 highest-ranking knights of the Diabolos cult. Having it means gaining fame and fortune. Hearing Zenon compare her to her sister Iris, Alexia immediately goes crazy and rushes to fight Zenon, but he easily handles her. In this dangerous moment, a shadowy figure slowly walks in. Sid introduces himself as Shadow, one who lurks in the shadows to hunt the shadows. Sid appears, interrupting the current dangerous situation. Zenon sees the cloak and immediately recognizes. This is the stray dog that has been biting at the cult recently. He smirks, thinking that destroying a few small-scale bases is nothing. As long as the main forces of the cult have not been touched, there is nothing to worry about. He immediately swings his sword, wanting to deal with Sid to add another achievement for himself in this cult. A huge wave of power descends, but Sid easily dodges this attack and interrogates Zenon about the location of the cult's main forces. At this moment, outside is extremely chaotic from the giant monster's attack. The gunfire seems to have no effect on it. The Night Order immediately rushes out to attack, but also cannot cause any damage to the monster. Iris witnesses the casualties and property damage before her eyes with extreme fury, immediately rushes to attack that monster, slicing off its arm with one sword strike. Just when there seems to be hope, the monster quickly regenerates its arm easily. Iris continues rushing and slashing continuously with her super powerful sword, but the monster once again stands up, regenerates its arms and charges forward to continue fighting. Seeing this, Iris wants to cut it into 1,000 pieces so it cannot regenerate anymore. Sword strikes swing out continuously, but at this moment Alpha has quickly appeared, saying what Iris is doing is meaningless. Sure enough, the monster once again madly charges forward. Alpha feels pity for it and uses her sword to free the monster. A huge blue wave of power swings out. The monster, before this magic power, quickly returns to the form of a small girl. Astonishingly, a photo falls from the little girl that is identical to the photo Sid found when facing Alba. Alpha also quickly picks up the photo and turns to leave. Iris wants to keep her, but Alpha just reminds her not to interfere with their Shadow Garden organization anymore. Elsewhere, a large explosion sounds, and Iris can only run towards there. On another battlefield, Sid is fighting with Xenon. Even Alexia cannot help but be astonished at Xenon's terrifying magic power. Turns out he has been hiding his abilities all along. Only Sid remains calm, fighting back against him easily without needing magic power. The two fight without a clear winner, making the building show signs of collapsing. Alexia watches in shock. The one in the black cloak has transcendently extraordinary swordsmanship, but its foundation is the swordsmanship of an ordinary person. It reminds her of her hard-working childhood, reminds her of everyone's mockery of her, and she realizes what her sister said that year was not empty words at all. At this moment, Sid has quickly gained the upper hand over Xenon, making him extremely furious. He wants to know the identity of the person who defeated him. Sid just smiles, saying they are Shadow Garden, existing for the sole purpose of destroying Diabolos. Xenon now takes out the same medicine vial that Olba used years ago, the medicine that awakens supernatural abilities, and he swallows it all in one gulp. Sid calmly watches the one before him transform into half-human, half-demon. Xenon rushes forward, wanting to show the one before him what the power of the round table is. Alexia is shocked at this enormous magic power, but she is even more shocked seeing Sid can still calmly blow away that sword strike. He not only uses a sword, but also uses his bare hands to fight back against Xenon. For him, the path of using borrowed power to reach the Supreme Realm does not exist. Sid quickly uses magic power to surround the entire building, shocking those around. Xenon wants to attack him, but at this moment Sid's body is like a heavy metal block that cannot be destroyed. Sid raises his blade and gently says, "I am atomic." After that, the entire ground shakes. Xenon's body dissipates like ultrasonic waves. In just an instant, an entire section of the royal capital has undergone a terribly massive explosion. Everyone in Shadow Garden looks at the explosion with fascination. Iris is also stunned for a few seconds, then hurriedly runs towards there. The large explosion ends, and Alexia stands silently amidst the ruins. She gently picks up the sword beside her and takes a stance, swinging a few basic strokes. Right at this moment, Iris hurriedly runs over and embraces her, and Alexia also hugs her sister. Another new day passes at the academy. That incident, though still having many hidden aspects, has been resolved by the royal capital before the public. Sid does not care much and wants to leave, but Alexia calls him back. She blushes and says thank you to Sid, also saying she now loves her own swordsmanship. Not stopping there, Alexia also blushes, expressing her desire to continue the romantic relationship between them. After all, Xenon is already dead. Sid hears this and immediately smiles, refusing her, and Alexia, before this harsh rejection, also shows a gentle smile. Later at that location, a murder with a missing body and blood everywhere was found there, becoming a legend of the academy. Elsewhere, Shadow Garden is summarizing everyone's achievements. The cult's base that imprisoned Princess Alexia has been destroyed by Lord Shadow, and Xenon Griffey has been reduced to nothing but smoke. Everyone greatly admires Sid's terrifying power and radiance. After all, that day the entire royal capital was dyed with his magic power. Alpha also shows a confident smile. At some point those enemies will have to disappear by that radiance, and that day will be continued. The group continues to report on everyone's situation. Zeta has discovered a new target and is gradually approaching and conducting investigation. Ida's research report has been sent successfully. Finally, there is an urgent matter about a threatening letter sent with the title, "Shadow Garden, your death sentence has arrived." Everyone's expression turns cold. The appearance of imposters and fabricated traces have all been found, and they continue with their mission. At this moment, the situation in the light is also very chaotic. The cult of Diabolos, the Shadow Garden organization, while ordinary citizens understand nothing, they are still plotting their actions. Iris is gradually losing trust in the Night Order. The sword instructor that the royal capital was always proud of was a follower of the cult of Diabolos, fearing that in deeper levels there exist many similar parasites. The two subordinates hearing this understand, and Iris makes the decision to establish a completely new investigation unit, with Glenn and Marco joining it. She opens the box beside her. Inside is a strange item that they need to decode as soon as possible. At the academy, a pink-haired girl is carrying a stack of books while walking and studying. Not paying attention, she bumps into Sid, who is covered in blood after being beaten by Alexia. Sid gently pulls her up, and for some reason she blushes shyly. The scene also becomes strangely pink. At night in the royal capital, in a small dark corner, an ordinary citizen is cornered with no way out. The cloaked figure draws a sword, introduces themselves as the Shadow Garden organization, and prepares to finish off the target. A death occurs quickly, and that person continuously calls themselves Shadow Garden while staggering away. This appears to be an imposter. An ordinary day passes at the Magic Swordsman Academy, and Sid faces his two friends who keep asking about the situation between him and Princess Alexia. Through Hyoro and Jaga's words, Sid learns that a store at the Mitsugoshi Trading Company is very famous for serving products that have never appeared before. The three decide to go check it out, to see how delicious that chocolate really is. Elsewhere in the school, Iris is talking with the pink-haired girl from the previous episode. In the event that occurred a few days ago, the Night Order obtained the item in the box at a facility of a religious organization calling itself the Cult of Diabolos. Iris and Alexia want to ask Sherry Barnett, the most renowned person in the royal capital for intelligence, to decode it. Sherry feels she is just a student, but because of her widespread reputation, they still want her to accept. Sherry's father, the vice principal of Midgar Magic Academy, also advises her to accept for her future. To ensure their safety, Iris has the Crimson Knight Order take charge of guarding Sherry. Alexia also wants to take on the mission. She also wants to know the truth about these organizations. Iris is worried but still agrees to let her participate. After school in the afternoon, Sid, Hyoro and Jaga are lining up waiting for the trading company to open. Hearing Hyoro and Jaga talking about rumors of slashers appearing in the royal capital, Sid becomes curious. While lining up, Sid notices everything around, the luxurious modern architecture very similar to his previous life. Those lining up are all upper class, making the three of them look quite strange standing here. At this moment, an employee of the trading company appears wanting to ask the three to do a survey, specifically asking Sid by name. So he is taken inside, seeing the trading company arranged with items exactly like the modern world of his previous life. That employee takes Sid to a balcony on the highest floor. Inside appears another house. Welcoming him is a group of Shadow Garden members, led by Gamma. Turns out, thanks to the knowledge Sid once taught years ago, Gamma used her abilities to create this trading company. Now it makes sense. It was because years ago he once told stories of his previous life and called it the knowledge of darkness. What is called chocolate was also told by him when he was young. Who knew Gamma would remember it so well, and even successfully make it? After all, she is a very smart elf, though with poor motor skills. Sid does not hesitate to sit on the throne, inwardly sighing that he is too much like a Shadow Lord. He quickly gives everyone a gift, and Gamma before this power feels it is so familiar. That year when they first met, it was this beautiful light that saved her in her most desperate and painful moment. After a moment of nostalgia, Gamma quickly reports on the store's situation. This trading company now has presence in all key cities domestically and abroad, even expanding to remote areas through mail order. The current treasury of the trading company has reached 1 billion zeni. Sid hearing this cannot help but feel shocked and annoyed inside. Using his knowledge to make money then leaving him out, and even earning this much money, it is truly bitter. Gamma mentions the recent rumors in the royal capital. A bunch of fools wearing black outfits impersonating the Shadow Garden organization. The culprits have not been caught yet. Gamma wants to handle this problem herself, but Sid expresses wanting to check it out personally. Gamma introduces him to a new member named Nu, who is the girl with abilities highly valued by Alpha. Sid does not pay much attention, says he wants to eat chocolate, with one hand pretending to talk. His other hand uses his slime to steal a gold coin from the girl. At night, everyone after buying chocolate hurries back to the dormitory. Sid runs while thinking, did not expect Alexia to become a random murderer. After all that day he was beaten just the same. Right at this moment, Sid suddenly stops as if sensing something. He collapses down, using the excuse of needing to defecate to stay behind. The three quickly perform an absurd act. After getting rid of those two, Sid calmly enters the alley corner. If Alexia becomes a random killer, he does not care. But if someone dares to claim the name Shadow Garden, then that is a different story that cannot be overlooked. At this moment, Alexia is fighting with someone claiming to be Shadow Garden. Sid above witnessing this is astonished. The two below continue fighting each other, blood flowing continuously. Right when that one is gaining the upper hand, Sid quickly jumps down to join the battle. He exposes the identity of the Shadow Garden imposter and wants to finish that person off. In the dark night, after finishing, Sid wants to leave, but is stopped by Alexia, who wants to know the identity and purpose of the organization. Also wants to know what Sid uses his power for. Sid just reminds her not to get involved in these matters. Alexia wants to chase after but collapses. At night in the city, the imposters are easily dealt with by Sid. At this moment, Nu appears, wanting to extract information from these people for him. Sid hearing this steps back, and the survivor immediately rushes towards the girl. Nu has quickly dealt with the imposter with just one sword strike. Elsewhere, the Shadow Garden imposters are discussing with each other. One wearing armor appears to be the boss of these imposter puppets. Their priority target is to retrieve the lost item. Back at the dormitory, Alexia is carefully bandaged. She reports that those slashers are not the Shadow Garden organization, but another self-proclaimed organization. Iris recalls that time. She also met a person from the Shadow Garden organization, those with very high abilities, belonging to the faction opposing the cult of Diabolos. Iris wants to speed up the decoding of the artifact for more information. Alexia asks her sister whether they are fighting against Shadow Garden or the cult of Diabolos. Iris says both, that she does not allow such lawlessness in this country. A new day passes. Sid again talks with his two friends on the way to school. Arriving at school, the boy Hyoro quickly gives chocolate to his goddess, but he is quickly taken away by her fiancé to be dealt with. The second to go is Jaga. After rambling for a while, he quickly runs off to find his goddess. Sid stays behind, not knowing who to give his chocolate to, when he once again meets the pink-haired girl from before. Sherry is finding a way to decode the artifact when Sid places the chocolate on her table and leaves, leaving Sherry bewildered there. In the afternoon, Sherry is no longer decoding the artifact. She is curious about Sid's chocolate box. At this moment, her father walks in, telling her that this chocolate is very hot, and the boy who gave it to her must definitely be love at first sight. Father advises her not to just focus on research, but to socialize more. Mentioning the artifact, father's eyes look a bit strange, but he quickly smiles, indicating nothing is wrong. Sherry is a child he adopted. Her biological mother was also a talented researcher, which is why Sherry is so obsessed with research. A new day at the academy. Sherry is still concentrating, sitting in her research room. Remembering what her father once said, she tries eating that chocolate, slowly savoring its sweetness. On this side, Sid is attentively reading a flyer. Behind him is Nu slowly following. She has borrowed a uniform to infiltrate here. Nu quickly reports on the situation from before. Although they caught the imposter in black clothes, because he was heavily brainwashed, his mind collapsed right after. This is a characteristic common in the Vanguard troops, children third of the cult of Diabolos, so they could not extract any information. Sid is not paying much attention. He is focused on reading the flyer guiding participation in the Academy Swordsmanship Tournament selection for the Bushin Festival. Turns out Hyoro had registered Sid for this competition on his behalf. Before the pressure from both friends, Sid quickly uses violent force to settle everyone down. Returning to the present, Nu continues reporting. The cult has been using drugs and brainwashing orphans and poor children with magic power to create children third. Their current objective is to cause misunderstanding about Shadow Garden's name and flush out their organization. She also mentions that the organization has investigated and found a named Children First. Sid, hearing the name Children First being mentioned, is puzzled. Nu explains to him. In the children group, the first are those who still retain their ego. Currently, their presence in the royal capital means there must be some objective happening. Nu wants them to continue launching an operation like last time. Sid says nothing and quickly leaves. Nu manipulates herself on her own. This is the knowledge of darkness. She looks at the surrounding scene, remembering the past when she also experienced the youthful school days until disaster struck. At the school gymnasium, Sister Claire quickly wins the competition. The students, besides watching the matches, also participate in betting on the competing members. Hyoro and Jaga have run out of money, so can only look at everyone with envy. The match continues with Student Council President Rose, Oriana, and Sid. The two quickly get on the fighting stage, holding swords ready. Sid sighs. The opponent has both strength and top fame. This is the time to show the 48 ultimate techniques he has been working hard on all this time. As soon as it starts, both immediately rush at each other. Two direct blows collide. Right when they are about to meet, Sid immediately takes out a mouthful of fake blood in his hand and puts it in his mouth. He angles his sword up, then charges into Rose. In an instant, Rose easily sends Sid flying, while he falls down spitting blood. This is the ultimate technique of a perfect background character. Having started acting, he must see it through. Sid pretends to stand up, wanting to continue fighting, but blood in his mouth still flows continuously. He still wants to complete his background character ultimate technique. In the next collision, Sid is once again sent flying, but he still says he cannot give up. After a while of continuously hitting and being hit, even opponent Rose is astonished at this ridiculous persistence. Sid still needs to be slashed a full 10 more times. Rose this time feels this spirited persistence is also worth respecting, so she uses more magic power to charge forward. Right when about to slash, the referee has timely pushed Sid away and ends the match with Rose's victory. Sid still wants to continue fighting, but is powerless. Rose, watching him, feels that although she won, she still lost to him in willpower. In the audience, Hyoro and Jaga are suffering from being out of money, and do not see Sid, who has been bandaged, leaving the school. At this moment, Sherry suddenly appears, worriedly asking about his health. Sid looks at the girl before him and does not remember who she is. The two go into the school cafeteria. Sherry continuously praises Sid for doing very well in the match just now. Then she takes out a bag of cookies to repay Sid. Sid thinks Sherry wants to thank him for his excellent background character performance, so he accepts the cookie bag. Sherry wants to start from a friendship relationship, and Sid also nods. Sherry very happily turns back to tell her father sitting behind. Sid realizes this person is Lutheran Barnett, vice principal of the academy. A very talented person, and not a character that a background actor should get involved with. From that, he also realizes who Sherry is, a character he also should not touch. Mr. Lutheran asks Sid to take care of his daughter more. Seeing the two happily talking with each other, Sid boredly starts thinking of ways to keep distance from this father and daughter. In the evening, the competition has ended. Sherry returns to her room staring at the chocolate box, recalling the times meeting with Sid, and also the rumors between him and Alexia. At the luxurious dormitory, Alexia is enjoying her black coffee and chocolate when she hears a knock on the door. The one knocking is Sherry. She gives Alexia some paper. Alexia does not understand much, but still invites Sherry inside to enjoy coffee with her. Sherry drinks coffee with a bunch of sugar and milk, which horrifies Alexia. But both quickly get to the main content. Alexia does not know if she came for the artifact decoding issue or the student council election schedule. Sherry then asks Alexia if she is dating anyone. After all, she used to date Sid, right? Alexia says they have already broken up, and it was not really dating, they were just pretending. Sherry, hearing this, becomes extremely happy. That expression makes Alexia immediately understand the issue and tremble with anger. Sherry does not pay much attention and quickly leaves the room. The next day, Sid enters class and continues playing his background character role as always. He silently listens to everyone talking about the student council president election. Right at this moment, Rose slowly walks in to explain about the upcoming election. A class session passes just like that. Elsewhere, the armored one takes out a round item and opens it. Immediately, a mysterious power envelops the entire class. On this side, Alexia wants to return to class when she sees the school gate has been closed. Alexia bewilderedly looks around, then is shocked seeing in a certain classroom blood everywhere and corpses falling down. Inside the school, Sid sits in class sensing something. He tries to use magic power, but cannot. Only everyone else cannot sense anything. Right at this moment, a group of cloaked people rush into the room. They again introduce themselves as the Shadow Garden organization and occupy the entire academy. Rose, seeing this, stands up holding a sword wanting to deal with them. An imposter, seeing this, draws his sword releasing magic power. Rose holds her sword wanting to deal with him, then is shocked to realize she cannot mobilize magic power, so she is quickly slashed and her sword is cut by that one. Right when Rose is about to be slashed, Sid quickly rushes over to block a blow for her, then collapses. Rose is shocked seeing him slashed until covered in blood. Going back a few minutes before the Shadow Garden imposters rushed in, Sid had immediately realized his opportunity had come. The thing that was once the dream of background character youths in the world. The thing that adorns a page in the fantasy of youth. That thing is a terrorist attack on the school. Sid sees the main character Rose about to be dealt with by those people, and for the story to continue, he did not hesitate to rush forward. After all, the first person killed by terrorists in movies can only be a background character. Rose is shocked and hurries over to where Sid has collapsed. Sid struggles to say his last words, then completely collapses. Sid's death has made Rose cry. She thinks Sid sacrificed his life because he loved her. At this moment, the terrorists order all students to quickly move to the main hall. Otherwise, there will not be just one death. Finally, everyone is escorted to the main hall under strict guard. When the building no longer has anyone, Sid's corpse slowly moves. He strikes hard at his wounded chest, continuously several times, then quickly wakes up. Sid smiles. This is also a background character secret technique of his, called the technique of stopping the heart to fake death for 10 minutes, using magic power to affect blood circulation, allowing blood to still flow to the brain normally even though the heart has stopped beating. Though dangerous, but that is the nature of a background character. Because the barrier covers the entire school, so using magic power is still difficult. But for Sid, just adding a bit more effort makes everything simple. With just a few movements, the large gaping wound on his body has completely healed. Sid quickly puts on his cloak and leaves. At this moment elsewhere, Sherry, knowing nothing, is still trying to decode that artifact. Right then, someone bursts in from the window, continuously saying they are the Shadow Garden organization. His name is Rex, belonging to the Game of Treachery faction, tasked with retrieving the pendant-shaped artifact that Sherry is holding. Rex quickly draws his sword wanting to deal with this quickly. But fortunately, Glenn and Marco have arrived in time to protect her. Marco on this side, while facing the enemy, tells Sherry to quickly run away. Sherry fearfully leaves with the artifact in hand. On the rooftop, Sid is watching the scene below. The guards have been wiped out. The night order is on the way. The students are being forced to gather in the hall. Magic power is disrupted, making support difficult. Truly just like manga. Sid is very satisfied with his role. The Shadow Lord pensively observing everything from the rooftop. But he also feels annoyed with those people, not maintaining the template at all and being too creative with innovations. They have ruined the aesthetic beauty of the plot. Not caring about time, place, circumstances, and wearing pitch black outfits in the morning too. Sid then decides to plan slowly until night falls before starting. He uses the slime in his hand as a weapon, like playing an assault game, shooting dead a few of those black-clothed people. Sid also sees Sherry running and hiding in the building very conspicuously. To fit the plot, Sid has been helping her from behind to have a chance to escape. Time gradually passes. Background character intuition is telling him the script has started. Right when reaching the climax, his Shadow Lord character will begin. Without many words, Sid jumps straight down from the rooftop. On this side, Sherry, thanks to Sid's protection, has been escaping for quite a while. She gradually calms down to realize the situation. They have used a type of artifact to disrupt magic power in order to retrieve the artifact in her hand. Sherry's objective is to get to her father's room to find more documents to save everyone. While escaping, Sherry carelessly falls down. Fortunately, Sid arrives in time to catch her. Sherry sees Sid injured and is very worried, but Sid does not care, just reminds her not to always mutter to herself and think randomly while walking and clatter around in slippers. The two quickly go to Mr. Lutheran's room for Sherry to find what she needs. Sid goes along mainly because he feels this girl will be the main character of the upcoming plot. While thinking for a moment, Sherry has already found it. The thing disrupting magic power in the school. It is an artifact called the Eye of Avarice, absorbing magic power from magic swordsmen or things with power and keeping it for a period of time. Those wearing black cloaks are not affected because the user can control it to remember the magic power wavelengths that the master does not want it to absorb. Sherry thinks only amounts of magic power so small they cannot be sensed, or an amount of magic power exceeding the storage threshold. Then this artifact cannot absorb the Eye of Avarice after storing enough magic power for a certain time. It will release everything immediately, meaning the imprisoned students will be blown up by that magic power. Sherry has also found what can deal with this. It is the artifact given to her by Iris, the thing that helps prevent the Eye of Avarice from releasing magic power. Sid asks what she plans to do next. Sherry just says she will finish decoding the artifact and go underground to the main hall to save everyone. All the Academy's facilities are connected with underground passages for escaping in emergencies. She wants to bring the artifact to where the Eye of Avarice is to stop its effects. Sid feels although the plan is somewhat amateurish, it is also quite proper, very fitting for him to appear in the form of Shadow. But at this moment, Sherry remembers she left the necessary tools at her research room. Sid immediately accepts the order to go get it for her. On the other side, Rex looks at the controlled students with satisfaction. The Armored One only cares about finding the artifact. That is the main mission. Rex is threatened into fear, immediately turns to find Sherry to retrieve the artifact. At the same time, he also informs the Armored One about two of the second group being killed. It seems Shadow Garden is also infiltrating in here. The Armored One is not afraid. His objective is only one: retrieve the artifact, return to the round table. Rex brings two subordinates to find the person, but Sid has easily dealt with those two subordinates in just an instant. Rex, seeing this, immediately uses magic power to spread a net to protect himself. While he is rambling, Sid has already gotten inside at some point, easily sending him flying. Rex is beaten by Sid until he cannot do anything, and not just a few of them, but the corpses of those cloaked people have all been piled up in a classroom. In just a few moves, those who needed to be dealt with have been easily defeated. On this side, Nu stands before the collapsed Glenn and Marco, frowning. She is about to do something when Sid slowly walks in looking for things. Nu tells him that Marco was once her fiancé. She quickly calms down and starts reporting. Currently, Shadow Garden has ambushed around the academy waiting for his orders, but because magic power is being restricted, fighting will have many risks, so only those in high positions can handle it. Currently, Gamma can enter, but after all, she has limitations in motor skills, so she also cannot fight. But this disrupted magic power situation will end soon. The cult of Diabolos has not acted yet, seems to be waiting, and the Night Order is also having command authority problems, and those who can fight are only about Princess Iris level and the support team captain. Because Sid has not given orders, the entire Shadow Garden is still waiting in ambush. Sid, hearing this, does not pay much attention, just asks Nu about where the mithril containers, the complete skeleton of a ground dragon, ashes of magic stones and so on are kept. After being helped by Nu, Sid quickly has enough items. Nu asks what he will use these things for. Sid just says to adjust the artifact. Nu is astonished, did not expect Sid to also have knowledge in that field. Sid repeats the words Sherry once said to him, then leaves. Nu respects him even more. After Sid leaves, Nu silently looks at Marco, then leaves. Outside is still extremely chaotic. Inside, Nu is infiltrating the student council to report the situation, while Sherry and Sid are elsewhere performing the artifact decoding act to save everyone. The Night Order on this side is still in chaos with the situation inside. They have difficulty finding a way into the academy, suspecting that inside the school there has appeared a traitor like that Xenon before. Rose also stands with everyone in the hall, never feeling so helpless. Night falls. Sherry has finally decoded that artifact, the thing that can subdue the Eye of Avarice. Sherry quickly finds the secret passage that her father once told her about. Sid watches and is insanely jealous. Looking at the darkness ahead, Sherry remembers the past story about her murdered mother. After that day, it was Mr. Lutheran who took her in and supported her in continuing her mother's research. After gaining determination to save her father, Sherry quickly enters the secret passage. Below, Rex reports that the artifact still has not been found. A few students want to rise up, but are quickly stopped by Rose. She feels on the armored one's body. There is a very large source of magic power. Even if everyone regains their magic power, they may not be able to win. But right at this moment, a large explosion sounds, attracting everyone's attention. It is two black-cloaked ones who have attacked the students. They treat everyone like toys, shooting continuously. Sherry has finally reached the hall. She quickly spots the target, which is the Eye of Avarice. Sherry quickly opens the artifact in her hand and throws it hard forward. After being activated, it extinguishes the magic disruption barrier throughout the entire academy. Rose, without many words, immediately rushes to deal with those black-cloaked ones. The remaining students also quickly rise up. The armored one orders everyone to counterattack. He does not participate in the battle but slowly leaves. Rose wants to take advantage of the remaining strength to rush and defeat the armored one. But right at this moment, Sid in his shadow identity has appeared. The real Shadow Garden members also receive the signal and descend to the hall. Sid says loudly, they are Shadow Garden, lurking in the shadows to hunt the shadows. The girls of the organization quickly rush up to deal with the cloaked ones impersonating them. Rose, though shocked at this scene, also quickly calls the students to quickly leave the hall and bring the wounded away. Sid, while fighting the children people, silently watches the back of that armored one. Above, Sherry worries because she still has not found her father's whereabouts. Right at this moment, a great fire surrounds the entire hall. Gamma and everyone above also realize the fire also engulfs other buildings in the academy. It was the armored one who did all this. Right when magic power returns, the entire school has sunk into a sea of fire. Corpses of the cloaked ones are scattered everywhere. Iris does not have time to think more, just calls everyone to quickly put out the fire. Rose has gone outside and recounts the situation to Princess Iris, about a mysterious group calling themselves Shadow Garden appearing and wiping out all the villains. Both look towards the academy, burning fiercely with heavy hearts. Inside, Sherry quickly finds a place to escape, still trying to find her father in that chaotic crowd. The armored one slowly proceeds to the vice principal's room, continuing to use fire to burn everything. In the room, Sid calmly strikes a cool pose, then exposes the identity of that armored one. Turns out he is Lutheran Barnett, the vice principal, Sherry's father. At this moment, his true identity is finally revealed. Lutheran, one standing at the peak of the sword path, but afflicted with a serious illness, found hope for survival through artifacts and tried to cling to them to survive. The one who researched this was Sherry's mother, a woman who was hated by the entire scholarly world because she was too intelligent. Lutheran had always supported her in conducting research, and then they found the Eye of Avarice, an artifact that could help him reach the true peak. Sherry's mother at that time believed the Eye of Avarice was too dangerous and should be handed over to the royal capital for management. Before this utterly foolish action to him, he directly killed her to seize that artifact. Sherry still does not know that this adoptive father is the one who killed her mother, still continuing to carry out her mother's research for him. Sid asks if Lutheran has been exploiting Sherry all this time. Lutheran does not hesitate to confirm this. Sid does not care about the story of Sherry and her mother. He quickly draws his sword to fight Lutheran, and is quickly sent flying out of the building, once again faking his death. Right when Sid disappears, Shadow appears. Lutheran, seeing him, immediately takes out his artifact to counterattack. Perhaps Sherry also did not expect that the Eye of Avarice, when combined with its control device, would become an even greater power. In an instant, a huge wave of magic power appears enveloping Lutheran, making him become a half-human, half-monster form. Lutheran immediately rushes forward. The two continue fighting each other for a long time. While thinking he has won, Lutheran is shocked to realize he cannot even touch Sid. Instead, he is seriously wounded by him. He had planned to finish everything and blame it all on the Shadow Garden organization, making them become wanted elements. Sid, hearing this, just finds it ridiculous. After all, they were never on the path of justice or evil anyway. Being blamed does not affect anything. Lutheran, hearing this, becomes furious and rushes to attack. But Sid has leisurely pierced through his body blow by blow. At the final strike, Sid uses a sword to stab straight into the heart of this monster, making the magic power on his body pour out like a waterfall. Done, Sid calmly turns and leaves, leaving Sherry, who has been standing there for who knows how long. She rushes over, crying and wailing before Lutheran's body. Sid turns his head to look at Sherry's painful appearance, finally leaves, deciding not to tell her the truth anymore. The next day, Alpha smiles reading all the news in the royal capital. Shadow, who is Sid, has been blamed by everyone for crimes of random killing, illegal imprisonment, arson and robbery, becoming the sworn enemy of the entire royal capital. Gamma relays Sid's directive that the organization must be ready to accept all sins in the world and continue on their path. Everyone in the organization follows Shadow's orders, worshipping him like a saint. At this moment, the entire school has been burned to ashes. Sid is walking on the road when he meets Sherry. The two go to a certain bridge to talk. Sherry just says thank you to Sid, also says she has decided to go study abroad in Rawagas. Sid does not say much, just encourages her to try hard. After saying what needs to be said, Sherry turns wanting to get on a horse and leave. Sid at this moment asks about her current purpose in life. Sherry just smiles, saying that is a secret. Thus, the two quickly say goodbye and leave. The entire Midgar Academy has become a mess, but the students from that also get early summer vacation. Everyone returns to their hometown, so the dormitory also becomes quieter than ever. Claire wants to drag Sid home together, but he has disappeared, determined to stay at the dormitory to carry out his shadow operations. At this moment, Alpha also sends a secret letter, reporting about some incident. Sid knows it is time to resolve past stories. The next destination has been confirmed. It is the Holy Land Lindworm. On this side, Gamma is still active at the trading company. Delta sleeps day and night. An elf girl is happily standing before a mirror admiring her beautiful body, also very excited to meet her master. That is Epsilon, and the master she always respects is Sid, the one who told her about the power that can change fate, also taught her to seize opportunities in this world. Epsilon always worships him and wants to prove herself with her fiery body. In another room, Beta is writing a story about that day, the battle between Sid and Xenon retold through the lens of love, when the female character of the story is no longer Alexia but Beta herself. After sighing about life for a while, Beta quickly gets dressed and leaves the room. Below the dormitory, Beta and Epsilon just meet and continuously compete for their master's affection. Epsilon feels she is the one the master notices, while Beta feels the master values her more. Their argument seems to be too normal here. Other members calmly continue their work. While arguing, midway Nu comes forward to interrupt, reporting that Alpha's new order has been sent to them. Beta and Epsilon then become serious again. Elsewhere, Alexia and her sister Iris are shopping together. All around are stores with a modern world feel opened by the Mitsugoshi Trading Company. Through their conversation, we learn that Alexia is currently a guest invited to the goddess trial competition at the Holy Land. Going there is also an opportunity for them to investigate deeper into the cult of Diabolos and the missing children. At this moment, Gamma also enters the fitting room to greet the two. Alexia and Iris really like the snacks here, wanting to buy some to bring back to the dormitory. Gamma, hearing that Alexia is preparing to go to the Holy Land, immediately memorizes this information to serve her organization. Hearing the two sisters talk about wanting to buy a few more outfits, Gamma introduces them to the latest lingerie in her collection that is very popular with men. Alexia immediately wants to buy everything, even dragging her sister Iris in to try them with her. The two make a big fuss for a while. Iris gives in and lets Alexia buy this entire collection. Going back to that day when the school was attacked by terrorists, when the entire building was still on fire, Rose fearfully searches throughout the infirmary. Then she breathes a sigh of relief seeing Sid is still alive, just bandaged all over his body. Sid, seeing Rose enter, pretends to groan a few times. She even thinks that thanks to Sid's endless effort and special feelings for her, he is still alive, becoming even more moved from that. After that day, on the train, Rose clings to Sid, feeling he is the destiny of her life. Sid does not understand much, but still accepts these privileges. Their vehicle is heading towards the Holy Land, originally wanting to sit in regular train seats to fit the background character role. But because Rose appeared and insisted on going together, all his calculations went wrong. Rose thinks Sid is going to the Holy Land also for the goddess trial competition about to be held. Sid, remembering Alpha's reminder in the letter, nods his head. Rose becomes even more moved, holding his hand, saying some sappy emotional words. Sid, while trying to pull his hand away, remembers the lore in this world. The most common religion is the Holy Religion, where the teachings of the goddess Beatrix are worshipped, and the Holy Land of that holy religion, Lindworm, is where Sid is heading. In legend, to grant power to the three heroes, the goddess Beatrix descended at that place. Rose still clings to him, rambling about their feelings, even fantasizing that they are secretly in love. Sid thinks she is trying to lure him into joining the holy religion, so he does not care much. At night, Rose wants to come sleep with Sid, but Sid still thinks she wants to lure him because of religion, so he always finds ways to avoid her. After 2 days like this, they finally arrive at the Holy Land Lindworm. Through Rose's account, we learn that according to legend, the hero Oliver severed the left hand of the demon Diabolos, and the place sealing that arm is at a ruin called the Holy Domain. The two are walking on the road when they see ahead there is a book signing event by the author Natsume. Because Rose really likes this author, she runs over to line up for a signature. Sid picks up a few books by this author and sees they are all plagiarized from stories of the modern world from his previous life, from Cinderella to Sleeping Beauty. Sid even thought it was someone reincarnated like himself, so he lines up to check. Unexpectedly, the author Natsume that everyone admires is none other than Beta. Sid hands over any book and asks her about the sales situation. Turns out the knowledge that Sid made up years ago has been used by this girl to enrich herself, as well as to create better conditions for gathering information. Beta writes details about the organization's plan in the book and gives it to Sid. Rose and Sid then sit at a cafe talking about Natsume's book. Sid's book has been written densely with ancient characters by Beta that neither of them can understand. But Sid does not care much. Night falls, Alpha goes to a mysterious place called the Holy Domain. She wonders why the hero Oliver would expose dark history at this place called the Holy Domain. Also asks what the High Priest Drake is hiding after all. She looks at the blood-covered corpse on the statue, wondering who killed someone of such high status. Right when the people of the Holy Domain enter and are alarmed at the current situation, Alpha has already quickly left. On the rooftop, Sid eats ice cream while observing the surroundings, seeing in the distance a shadow moving in the darkness, so he follows him. This one lands in a small alley. But before he can do anything, he has been executed with magic power in the form of a beheading strike. Sid also appears, recognizing that what just executed that one was the familiar attack of Epsilon. Sid asks about the organization's plan. She reports the latest situation, that their target has been eliminated by the cult's executioner. This one has disappeared. Sid still says he will act on his own, while everyone in the organization should proceed as planned. After saying this, he quickly leaves, also not exposing the slime padding on her chest. Another morning passes in Lindworm. Sid is now bathing in a hot spring. He thinks about life, feeling that hot springs are the best. While enjoying, Sid does not notice at all that Alexia is also bathing at the same place. Alexia blushes, extremely embarrassed, finally deciding to start a conversation, asking about his previous injuries. Sid is not surprised by Alexia's appearance, just asks what she is doing here. After talking, Sid learns that the goddess trial competition is held once a year, only starting when the gates of the Holy Domain open, beginning with a battle ritual. The challenger summons ancient warriors from the Holy Domain and fights them, in short, fighting with spirits. The ancient warriors will also only respond to a worthy challenger's summons. Each year several hundred people participate, but only about a dozen can summon them. Alexia tells him about the incident where the high priest of the cathedral was killed. Wanting to know more would require joining the Crimson Knight Order. Sid, hearing this, immediately refuses. No matter how she invites, he will not agree. The two then tease each other about body issues. Seeing Alexia say his thing is only the size of an earthworm, Sid immediately stands up to prove his thing is at least sword-sized, no joke. After saying this, he quickly turns and leaves, leaving Alexia in the bath still in shock. Although it is daytime, fireworks are still lively, welcoming the opening of the goddess trial competition. The current head of the Holy Domain quickly opens the competition. This one is a substitute high priest named Jack Nelson. That day Alexia came to attend the old high priest's funeral and also to investigate his death, but heard that the higher-ups had temporarily suspended the murder investigation to continue the competition. This Jack guy even used the excuse of having the king's approval to ask her not to interfere further. Relations between the holy religion and the royal capital cannot become worse, so Alexia also cannot do anything. Sitting beside her is Beta, or Natsung Kafuka, also invited as an up-and-coming author. Looking at the huge breasts on her body, Alexia becomes even more self-conscious. Beta also does not like Alexia at all, thinking she is an annoying person, not worthy of the position of Lord Shadow's battle chronicle at all. The two quickly look at each other with faces smiling but hearts not smiling, silently stabbing mercilessly. Beside them is Rose, still calmly smiling before the crowd. Sid is sitting in the crowd watching the match. Jack declares the competition open under everyone's cheering. Opening is the challenger from the kingdom of Oriana named Top Baterios. People around discuss noisily in this competition. Once an ancient warrior appears, the participant cannot leave that light cage. Unless one side falls, people dying is completely normal. Sid nearby hears everything, silently thanking these two background characters for the useful information. He does not care about any competitor, only caring whether this big event has a place for the Shadow Lord to appear or not. In the arena, Top Baterios quickly calls out the summoning words, but is not answered. So the second person, Vanny Dacey from the Night Order, quickly takes the stage. Above, Sid just wants to quickly find an opportunity for Shadow to appear. But in the end, there is nothing. Perhaps he can only be a background character. Outside, all members of the Shadow Garden organization are hiding in the shadows waiting for the right moment. Night has fallen, and they still have not found a second person besides that Anna Rose who can summon ancient warriors. Unexpectedly, right at this moment, the name Sid Kajino as a magic swordsman from Midgar Academy is announced in the arena. Not only Sid but everyone else is shocked at this presence. Only Rose is not surprised, because she is the one who registered his name. Sid wants to enter and quickly give up, but is a bit afraid that an extremely strong ancient warrior appearing would expose his true strength. He also cannot give up, because doing so would get him dealt with by the student council and his sister Claire. Finally, Sid decides to execute the third option. While everyone thinks Sid has given up his right to compete, in the sky suddenly appears a strange light. In the arena, Shadow has appeared. Turns out Sid's third option is to cause chaos at this competition. He just needs to create a big commotion. Sid again introduces his familiar slogan before everyone's astonishment. On this side, Jack quickly orders his subordinates to handle this matter. He is not afraid at all, even thinking he will have to suffer humiliation here. In a hidden corner, a red light appears. In the arena, Sid uses his magic power to awaken the sleeping memories of the ancient holy domain. Before this huge wave of magic power, everyone is terrified. Sid also feels this matter seems to be getting too big. In an instant, a woman appears from his call. Beta quickly recognizes her. That is the Calamity Witch Aurora, the woman who once brought chaos and destruction to the world. Rose and Alexia do not know about the legend of this Aurora at all. Beta at this moment takes out a notebook from her chest, then uses her charm to seduce Jack into giving more information about this Calamity Witch. Although Alexia and Rose are speechless, this move is actually effective. Jack Nelson recounts Aurora, though only a small part in church history, but she is also the witch praised as the strongest in historical records, so a brat like Shadow will have to suffer now. Alexia thinks that the goddess trial competition will summon opponents worthy of that Shadow. If someone like Aurora appears, does that not mean Shadow's true strength can reach the level of one who once destroyed the world? On the fighting stage, both Sid and Aurora have a connection as they rush to attack each other. Aurora starts first with bloody attacks. Sid also quickly responds to her by dodging first. Although using ancient combat skills at first glance, it seems his strength is not equal to his opponent. Ordinary swordsmen probably cannot even respond, while that Shadow still calmly dodges and observes the situation. Sid is very satisfied with this match. It seems the entire fighting stage is engulfed by Aurora's magic power. But right when it seems like she is about to finish Sid, he uses his sword to break through the encirclement absolutely. The battle ends with Sid slashing through the body of the Calamity Witch Aurora, then quickly leaving this place. All observers are shocked. Unexpectedly, although the one always attacking was Aurora, the final winner is Sid. Right at this moment, the magic barrier suddenly breaks. A red wave of magic power appears covering the entire arena. Not only the arena, but the entire Lindworm is covered by it. Alpha calmly witnesses everything. This is the Holy Domain's response to Shadow. Sid quickly leaves to a place few would notice. Thanks to using the Shadow identity as a topic of discussion, people no longer pay attention to a background character like Sid anymore. Right at this moment, a red magic power suddenly appears beneath his feet like a giant gate. In the middle is a mysterious symbol. Sid tries to move elsewhere, but the gate persistently follows him. Seeing he cannot escape, remembering the battle with Aurora just now, Sid does not hesitate anymore and steps inside. The large gate below the arena makes everyone confused and shocked. Jack also cannot believe it. The Holy Domain has responded to that Shadow. Seeing everyone does not understand, he explains, every year the Holy Domain opens once. However, a gate appearing right in the middle of the goddess trial competition like this has never happened before. That gate is usually hidden by the holy religion in the Grand Cathedral, but it can freely change its shape and position, appearing in corresponding form according to the seeker, the one with sufficient qualifications. While speaking, the gate shows signs of about to open. Jack immediately orders everyone to quickly evacuate so they do not get pulled in. Right when he wants to take the princesses away, those wearing black cloaks, the Shadow Garden organization has arrived. Alpha orders everyone to quietly wait until the gate completely closes. Alpha assigns the guarding duty to Epsilon, then proceeds forward with Delta. Alexia feels this person is even stronger than her royal sister Iris. While thinking, she sees all the cloaked people do not hesitate to step into that gate. Epsilon just requests everyone to stay put until the gate closes, while Jack must go with them. Jack does not understand what this organization wants to do at the Holy Domain. Alexia and Rose want to rush out, but Epsilon has taken Beta as a fake hostage to ask them not to act rashly. Not saying more, Epsilon wants to take old Jack into the gate. But right at this moment, an executioner named Venom has appeared, attacking Epsilon's fake slime breasts. This has directly touched her pride, so she immediately madly uses her slashing attack to kill that person. This time Epsilon does not hesitate anymore, dragging Jack into the gate with her. After her, those two black cloaked people also drag Beta in together. Alexia and Rose, seeing the gate about to close, also follow them and jump inside. Alpha just silently watches Alexia and Rose enter together with the organization without saying anything. She thinks perhaps this is also something they should know. To keep her identity secret, Beta also stays with these two princesses. Inside the door is a vast room. Jack thinks they want to find the left arm of the cult of Diabolos, but their goal is only information about that cult. Alpha wants to search for the truth buried in the darkness of history about the statue of the hero Oliver. Alpha wants to know why that hero's face looks exactly like hers. Jack, seeing Alpha reveal herself, is extremely shocked, because the elf tribe cursed by demons should have died long ago. Before the current situation, both Rose and Alexia are stunned and even more confused. Alpha reveals to them that the Shadow Garden organization has discovered the purpose of the cult of Diabolos is not simply to resurrect the demon, but they need more evidence. She quickly uses her magic power to open the gate before them. Just as the gate opens, waves of water rush in. The magic power of the demon god and warriors intertwine. This place is the mausoleum, where ancient memories and hatred of the demon god sleep. Beside Alpha is a girl who looks exactly like her, who is the hero Oliver. Both without many words enter through the gate. Elsewhere, Sid just enters the gate and sees Aurora is already inside. Both express their enjoyment after the battle just now. Sid asks her about how to leave here, but Aurora has no memory of that. Aurora is tied to a chair. Sid without many words unties her, and the two of them begin their journey to escape from this place together. According to Aurora, this holy domain is a memory prison created from the ancient war. As long as they can destroy the magic power nucleus at the center, she will be freed, and other things will disappear. The holy domain will also not mind. This sounds simple, but magic power cannot be used here. The two quickly rely on physical strength to proceed toward the door ahead. Scene changes to where Alpha and everyone are. They have now moved to the memory of the hero Oliver imprisoned in this holy domain. This was once where the cult collected homeless orphans and turned them into guinea pigs for their experiments. Most of the children could not endure and passed away. Only one little girl survived. Alexia and Rose cannot help but feel disgusted by this. On the other side, Sid and Aurora are strolling somewhere. They are entering Aurora's memory and see a little girl crying. To continue, they must end this memory segment. So Aurora immediately slaps her younger self once. Right after, the scene continues to change. On this side, Alpha continues with her story. Oliver is one of the few children who could adapt to Diabolos' cells, the thing the cult had implanted in the children. Jack argues that they needed power to face the demon. In fact, history has said, Oliver severed the left arm of the demon. After growing up with Diabolos' cells, the hero Oliver was given a mission. It was not to defeat the demon like in Legends, but to collect new Diabolos' cells. Jack immediately thinks Alpha is making things up. But Alpha continues. Oliver obediently listened, hoping for world peace, but the cult's purpose was not like that at all. The scene in the memory shatters, bringing them to a battlefield where blood and flesh are mixed. The cult used high-level artifacts to seal Diabolos' left arm, ground it into pieces of flesh, and took its blood for research. Their purpose is to obtain the terrifying life contained in Diabolos' cells. The pills we have seen before are also products of those things. The pills have great power, but also side effects, so the cult is not satisfied with them. Everyone witnesses the arm of the demon god below. Jack is terrified, afraid they will expose this entire place to the world. Turns out the one who participated in this project was old Jack Nelson back then. They obtained from that arm something that emits a red light sparkling like fresh blood of Diabolos. Just tasting it gives tremendous power and eternal youth, called the Diabolos Drop. Although overpowered, the Diabolos Drop still has two major weaknesses. One is it has no effect if not used periodically once a year. And two is the quantity is extremely scarce, only 12 pills per year. Coincidentally, the supreme leadership of the cult, the Round Table Knights, also has 12 people. These people have not actually perfected the Diabolos Drop, and the key to perfecting it is the sealed demon body and the descendants of heroes, meaning those with bloodlines close to Oliver like Alpha. From Alpha's account, we also learn Jack Nelson is the knight of the 11th seat of the Round Table. Before the exposed truth, he no longer bothers to hide, immediately wanting to rush out and destroy everyone. But right at this moment, Delta has quickly killed Jack with one move. This impulsive action displeases everyone, but Alpha is not angry, because she knows that Guy is not dead yet. Sure enough, the next second, he rushes toward them. The memory shatters from here. The surroundings are left with only a white expanse. This is a part of the defense system of the Holy Domain. Jack, like a fish finding water, immediately splits into 1,000 clones to fight them. Delta rushes forward, slashing each one to pieces. But these ones seem to have unlimited numbers. Continuously multiplying is not good. At this moment, Delta feels something is wrong and immediately retreats backwards. Turns out the closer to the center of the Holy Domain, the more strength is lost. While those of the cult become stronger the closer they get to it. Jack is not worried despite being exposed. He continues to multiply, while Delta is still like a small cat that has locked onto the target and charges forward. Scene changes to where Sid and Aurora are. The two walk in two different spatial dimensions. Their next destination is the battlefield that Alpha's group went to earlier. Sid and Aurora walk over the pile of corpses and proceed to a large pit. Inside is the mini version of Aurora crying. Aurora borrows Sid's sword and proceeds forward. She raises the sword at herself, about to slash, when right at this moment, those corpses suddenly rise up and attack. Sid quickly rushes up to save her from danger. Before this scene, Aurora understands the Holy Domain is blocking them. Sid, hearing this, feels like the two of them are like viruses, and these zombies are the antivirus software being activated by the Holy Domain. If Aurora dies here, they will have to return to the first room. So the two must face the challenge ahead. Elsewhere, Epsilon and some others who were separated are exploring around when they encounter a strange half-human half-monster creature. Seeing it approach, everyone is about to rush up to attack when Epsilon slowly stops them and proceeds forward. Passing through her body, the monster's shadow gradually fades. Epsilon explains that this is like at the previous goddess trial. Those memories react to them, those cursed by demons, which is why they appear. Indeed, all members of Shadow Garden were once cursed and picked up by Sid to be purified. Everyone continues exploring around. They arrive at a book room and quickly find a detailed map of this holy domain. Thanks to member Ida in the organization who, based on Sid's knowledge, created a camera, they quickly photograph the necessary information here without worrying about not being able to take it out. Right at this moment, the slime clothes on their bodies all seem to be corroded and fade away. Epsilon also realizes, the closer to the center, the more strongly magic power is sucked away. Even her chest padding slime has fallen off. Her strong big breasts' willpower makes the slime return to where it needs to be. Everyone seeing this pretends not to know anything. On the battlefield memory side, because there is no magic power, Sid has to use the supreme physical skills learned from his previous life to deal with these zombies. But they seem to keep coming endlessly. Not patient enough, Sid draws his sword and proceeds to deal with this mini version of Aurora, ending their endless zombie loop. Aurora does not understand why she feels a bit uncomfortable at this scene, but she just stays silent. The next destination is inside a large building. The two have reached the center of the holy domain, where the arm is being sealed extremely strictly. On this side, Delta, even without magic power, can still solo one-on-one with that Jack, making him quite shocked. Alpha, after observing for a moment, also joins the battle. Jack continues to multiply, but Delta has run out of patience. She uses her giant weapon to deal with everyone in one strike, like swatting a bunch of flies. Scene changes. Reaching the center, Sid wants to cut the chains to open the seal, but it seems with his sword it will not work. Aurora points to the large sword outside. On it clearly states, this is the sword used to cut the sealing chains. Sid wants to take it out, but only direct descendants of heroes can. Indeed, a warning line appears when he tries to do so. Aurora feels Sid is someone with very strong ability and intelligence to know these things, though actually he just watched too many movies and manga to know. Unable to open the seal, the two just sit in front of the sealed door doing nothing. On this side, everyone witnesses Delta beating Jack and is already bored. Alexia feels Delta's fighting style is completely different from that Shadow. One side is transcendent technique that cannot be blocked. The other is just pure violence, though very strong but also a bit ugly to watch. Right at this moment, the memory suddenly shatters, bringing everyone back to the previous scene. Jack is furious and unwilling, also frightened being cornered. He suddenly turns and strikes hard on the statue to summon Oliver. Immediately, a new gate opens. Oliver steps out of the statue. Jack is gleeful as if he has a new ally to fight for him. At this moment, Epsilon from above shouts, reporting that the investigation is complete. They have found a way to open the gate and can leave anytime. Alpha satisfyingly smiles and immediately turns to leave, leaving Jack still bewildered. At this moment she reveals, their purpose is only to cut off the source of power. Now, having obtained the defense method of the holy domain, they will return soon in the not too distant future. Jack wants to rush forward, but is still afraid of Delta's terrifying strength, can only let everyone leave this place. Jack, when alone, curses, swearing to catch Alpha as soon as possible to conduct his experiments. He will also turn this Shadow Garden to ashes. While thinking about how to justify to the cult and everyone outside, a red notification appears. Turns out someone has entered the center of the holy domain. He can only order Oliver to go there together. At the center side, Sid and Aurora are boredly talking to each other when they see the door open. Sid feels surely the main character is coming, but after that glorious entrance, only old Jack and Oliver appear. After some random nonsense, Jack immediately orders Oliver to deal with these two people in front. Sid also holds his sword and advances, then as planned leads Oliver to destroy this entire place. Oliver, as if programmed, continuously rushes to slash and kill Sid. It seems this girl is completely dominating. Seeing Sid not fighting but also not dying makes old Jack very angry. Sid says the one before him has no heart. Also does not answer questions. Fighting like this is really boring. After all, for him fighting is the best way of conversation. At this moment Aurora suddenly speaks up, stopping him from continuing to fight, even saying some words of self-sacrifice that makes Sid feel completely speechless. He listens to these two characters talk to each other and cannot help feeling bored. He never said he would lose. Why do these people like to think for themselves and make decisions like that? Jack, seeing Sid not showing fear, becomes even more angry. Immediately orders Oliver to kill him. In the next second, it seems according to plan Sid will be slashed to death, but he just smiles as if seeing through everything. Right when the sword pierces through his body, Sid has immediately grabbed Oliver's hand. After easily catching this body, he does not hesitate to bite a large chunk into Oliver's neck and tear it apart. Blood everywhere shocks the viewer. Oliver immediately fades away in space. Jack cannot believe someone survived after being stabbed through the stomach. Sid just expresses that to protect vital spots humans will become tough beyond expectation, even if stabbed through the stomach, but protecting the arteries and important organs will not die. Sid uses himself as bait to deal with the opponent. This move can also counterattack with guaranteed hit at very close range. After finishing Oliver then comes Jack. But on the contrary, he is not afraid at all, because an immeasurable amount of magic power is sleeping in the Holy Domain. He has immediately used it to create a series of other Oliver clones. These clones simultaneously rush towards Sid, wanting to finish him. Sid is not afraid at all. At this moment, he finally opens the eye that has been tightly closed since entering the gate, revealing his blazing red pupil. In an instant, those clones with just one strike from Sid have fallen. Jack is shocked. That is the crystallization of magic power with slime artifact. He does not understand why Sid can use magic power in here. Sid calmly explains to him, if the cultivated magic power is sucked away, then just cultivate it so concentrated that it cannot be sucked out. That is why from the beginning until now he has always kept one eye closed, to accumulate energy for this moment. The Oliver clones still continue rushing forward. Sid asks Aurora again about how to end this illusion. Just pull out the holy sword, cut the chains and destroy the magic power nucleus, right? Receiving confirmation from Aurora, Sid immediately radiates his magic power throughout this entire area. Aurora is shocked. This is not power that humans can possess. Right at this moment, an Oliver clone rushes forward and stabs into his chest. Sid timely recalls all the clones. From his own body erupts a large explosion. Like the incident in the basement before, the ground around the Holy Land Lindworm shakes. Purple light spreads throughout the space. Alexia and Rose are both shocked yet feel very familiar. The explosion slowly ends. At this moment surrounding Sid is an infinite void. Before his eyes is a large arm being sealed. Sid raises his sword up, and when opening his eyes the second time, he has left that place. Aurora praises his tenacious life. Sid explains because at that time he used magic power to pull his heart to one side, so he did not die when pierced through, though still alive but quite tired. Aurora at this moment has gradually faded. Perhaps she will gradually disappear. At this moment, Aurora finally tells Sid the truth, that she wants to have a memory she will never forget. Aurora gives Sid a kiss before completely fading away. Sid stays silent, then slowly leaves this place. On this side, Alexia with Rose and Beta slowly find their way out of here. Alexia asks if they do not feel frustrated. They could not do anything, could not even distinguish what is good and what is evil, and only observed as outsiders. Rose also feels very confused since the school incident until now. Beta asks what they plan to do. Alexia wants to use the strength of all three to cooperate in gathering information to fight those forces. Rose and Beta both agree to this cooperative relationship. The next day, Alpha and Epsilon summarize the operation. The Holy Domain has been destroyed. The Holy Sword has disappeared. The magic power nucleus sample has also evaporated from this world. This is the simplest yet most thorough solution that Lord Shadow has thought of. Beta on this side is also leading those two princesses according to plan. Epsilon, thanks to the previous investigation at the Holy Domain, has confirmed the organization's hypothesis that the Calamity Witch Aurora is also the demon Diabolos. Alpha continues reminding everyone to prepare to return to the next target at the royal capital Midgar. Then both quickly leave here. On a heavily rainy day, Gamma comes to meet the contractor to buy a location to open the second branch of Mitsugoshi Trading Company in the Vigalta Empire. At this moment, Nu comes to report on the assigned task. After receiving her confirmation, Gamma, without many words, buys the entire real estate in this neighborhood, with the condition that the trading company will rebuild and turn this place into the leading city of Vigalta. Nu quickly leaves the room, ordering other members to buy all the real estate in the Nar River tributary, to start a new real estate bubble. Shadow Garden has grown to the point of sending members to the South Pole to scout the situation. Everyone begins their new day with their own work. Alpha witnesses this warm scene and smiles, remembering the old days. At that time, Alpha and Sid had created a modern-style house, just like the previous world, for everyone to live together. There, the children saved by Sid were living together. Sid at that time did not care much about Alpha's righteous words, just felt that a bunch of kids living together should know some self-defense martial arts. So he offered to teach everyone some knowledge about various aspects of life. While reminiscing halfway, Gamma comes to report there is contact from the Kingdom of Oriana, that the kingdom's Prime Minister Doam Ketsuhat will depart heading to the royal capital Midgar. Alpha becomes serious again, starting to prepare for a new operation. Returning to the Holy Land, Alexia reports everything recent to her sister at the resort. Iris also feels the holy religion has always been suspicious like that, from the old high priest being murdered to that successor priest. Both are insiders of the cult of Diabolos. Alexia tells about the Holy Domain, but that place currently cannot be entered again, so cannot investigate further. She wants her sister to connect this incident to the royal capital incident to clarify the cause. But Iris has also told the Emperor, who is their father, and was rejected. After all, he is a pacifist. Soon the Emperor will welcome the king of the allied nation Oriana, so causing trouble with the church is unnecessary. Moreover, clear evidence is also needed. Iris wants to take advantage of the upcoming Bushin Festival, using the champion title to call for help from the Night Order, while also increasing support from the people and her own voice. Alexia worries the Diabolos cult or Shadow Garden will cause trouble like before, but Iris is confident that no matter how powerful artifacts they possess, she will not lose. Alexia still wants to advise her sister, because the power they must face is too great. But Iris also clearly understands she cannot keep hiding. They need to act. At this moment, Iris asks her sister why that day she chased after those people in the Holy Land. What she accepted was to observe and investigate the High Priest. Alexia's actions then were too dangerous. Alexia feels guilty and immediately leaves the bathroom, leaving her sister alone in the room. Iris is also very worried. Her Night Order just formed has lost its main force. Even others are starting to lose faith in the Night Order, when the elite talents she recruited have died meaninglessly. That makes Iris desire victory at the upcoming Bushin Festival even more to prove her ability. Elsewhere, despite heavy rain, Rose is still madly practicing swordsmanship. She wants to practice more towards the perfectly beautiful swordsmanship of that shadow from that time. Right at this moment, a heart pain makes Rose collapse. Then she is shocked to see a red mark on her chest. Another new day passes at the royal capital Midgar. Everyone is gathered here to prepare for the Bushin tournament. This exciting atmosphere is all taken in by Sid's eyes from above. Right when the Bushin tournament is overflowing with emotions pursuing absolute power, what Sid wants to do most is hide his true strength and participate in the tournament, to be looked down upon by the audience, and then make them stunned before his true power. This is a plot point often used in manga. However, with his current identity, it cannot be done. So at the Mitsugoshi Trading Company, Sid has met Gamma wanting to ask her for a few things. He wants to hide his identity and participate in the upcoming Bushin tournament. Gamma really wants to know the reason but fears she is being too forward with Sid, so she quickly arranges staff to bring out the tools. Machines and clothes are brought into the room in an instant. She takes out a slime container with the function of transforming facial skin shape using magic power. This is a product mass-produced by Ida. After applying it to his face, Nu beside them takes out some face shapes for them to choose and change his face. Gamma introduces Sid to someone with the nickname Mundane Man, a lazy magic swordsman with weak abilities, who was disowned by his noble family 5 years ago, and then died mundanely without anyone knowing. This person has a build quite similar to Sid. The profile also has nothing to criticize, so everyone immediately chooses this person. After operating the machine for a while, Sid's face has transformed into that mundane young man. Sid is very satisfied and quickly gets into character excellently from gestures to mannerisms. He silently praises Gamma for having a very good brain, though her motor skills are a bit lacking. On the streets, participants of the Bushin tournament are talking when they see a girl walk in. It is Anna Rose of Belgada, the one who summoned ancient warriors at the goddess trial competition last year. She is walking on the road when she meets Sid in disguise. Anna Rose without many words calls him over, advising him to give up participating in the Bushin tournament. Otherwise he will die. With this inferior physique, he will just be cannon fodder. Sid just tells her not to judge others by appearance and give random advice. While feeling smug about successfully hiding his skills, he is blocked by another larger person. The guy introduces himself as Quentin, who has participated in the Bushin tournament many times. He also tells Sid to go home and suck his mother's milk instead. Before their mockery, Sid quickly gets into character and asserts that he is stronger than their group combined. Being provoked by the people around, Quentin immediately rushes up and gives Sid a punch. Sid slowly senses Quentin's low level through the punches, then right when that one is rushing forward again. Though he could easily deal with that guy, he still accepts letting Quentin beat him to a pulp. Anna Rose only stands out to tell Quentin to stop after Sid has completely collapsed before things go further. Before greater strength than his, that Quentin immediately retreats and leaves. Anna Rose approaches to apologize to Sid for indirectly causing him to be beaten. She just wanted him to know when to back down. Anna Rose also wants to help him treat his wounds, but Sid shows he does not care and quickly turns to leave. This very thing has attracted Anna Rose, making her introduce herself and also want to know more about Sid. Sid just says he is mundane man, then leaves in the confusion of the person before him. It is time to register for the Bushin tournament. Sid is looking forward to seeing the reaction from contempt to terror before this wonderful power. After finishing registration, Sid goes to eat with his friend Hyoro, both talking about the upcoming Bushin tournament. Speaking of the betting problem in the stands, according to Hyoro, the current championship candidates are Princess Iris, Student Council President Rose, and also that Anna Rose. Sid takes out a keychain souvenir from Lindworm to give Hyoro, then quickly leaves, ignoring his invitation to join the betting. In the evening, Sid is on his way back when he meets Rose. Also gets to hear about her going to eat with Alexia and Beta a few days ago and becoming a close friend group. Rose is silent for a moment, then continues. Later she will go with her father to meet her fiancé Dome Ketsuhat. She is a princess of the Art Nation but follows the path of swordsmanship. This makes her always have heavy responsibilities on her shoulders. After hearing Rose share her feelings, Sid just expresses trust in her. Also casually advises her to relax a bit, then quickly leaves. The two part ways here. The next day, the Bushin tournament has started. Sid silently watches the matches, while Hyoro continuously watches and takes notes to calculate probability ratios and bet to make money in this tournament. The two are talking when someone slowly approaches. This one calls himself the undefeated legend Goldo the Gilded. Goldo also often records data to increase his winning probability. Hyoro greatly admires this flashy guy, so he continuously talks with him, not noticing Sid has left at some point. The next match is between Gonzalez Macam and Mundane Man. Goldo stands to the side analyzing the two participants in that match, feeling Gonzalez is someone with experience and great strength. Combat Power Index is 1/364. When seeing Mundane Man, who is actually Sid in disguise, Goldo just feels this person is a brat not worth mentioning. Combat Power is only a mere 33. Based on this analysis, Hyoro and Goldo feel Mundane Man will definitely lose, might even be killed in 1 second coming up. But right at this moment, the result in the match shocks everyone. Just 1 second since the solo started. Gonzalez has fallen, the winner is Mundane Man. Everyone cannot believe their eyes and continuously protests, especially those who bet on Gonzalez. In the crowd, Anaros has observed everything, also saw the lightning speed attack from Sid. On this side, though the prediction was wrong, Goldo still saves face by saying some boastful words. The foolish Hyoro completely believes him. Before leaving, Goldo does not forget to say tomorrow will be the battle between him and Mundane Man. Hyoro knows who to bet on now. Sid, after finishing the fight, returns outside to the stands. Hyoro is full of confidence about winning big and tells Sid to give him money. Sid refuses. He is enjoying the shocked and doubtful reaction from Anaros. Everything is going according to plan. The next morning, Sid is still sleeping when Hyoro bangs on the door loudly. He holds a newspaper in his hand, shouting about the big news that happened yesterday. Student Council President Rose has stabbed her fiancé Dome Ketsuhat and fled. This is truly terrifying news. Sid also has to open his eyes wide. Beta and Alexia have also learned about recent news. According to gathered sources, Rose seems to have fled to the north of the royal capital. The Kingdom of Oriana wants to handle it as an internal matter. Also requests the Kingdom of Midgar not to provide unnecessary support. Both feel this action is extremely suspicious. Princess Rose is not only a diplomatic envoy, but also an exchange student. They should handle it according to Midgar's laws. Oriana's action inevitably damages relations between the two countries. Alexia's father, who is also the king of Midgar, to avoid trouble also decides to just stand by and watch. Beta looks at the identity of the fiancé Dome Ketsuhat. Determining if Rose is caught committing such a crime, she will obviously have to suffer severe punishment. Even if not death, it will not be easy. On this side, Rose, despite being injured, is still trying her best to escape. Alexia wants to go find Rose, but Beta feels they need to wait because Rose may not want them to interfere. The risk of becoming a big problem between two nations could completely happen, so they cannot act impulsively. After the tension passes, Beta takes on the task of gathering more news about Princess Rose and Dome Ketsuhat, while Alexia will go find Iris to ask about the situation more clearly. After Alexia leaves, Beta talks with her organization members. She does not want that Princess Alexia to interfere in their matter this time. The organization member understands the situation clearly. Rose Oriana has now gone to the underground ruins through the underground waterway, a suitable place to hide. Beta orders subordinates to continue monitoring. She reads the latest received news. Rose fled with the last identification being pressing her hand on her chest multiple times. At the large arena, the competition fights are ongoing. Sid is reading the latest articles about Rose's situation, even feeling this girl is really unique. Sid wants to play the background character role to fit the situation. But currently his goal is not that. The Bushin tournament event is still more important. After determining the upcoming plan, Sid quickly leaves the stands in Hyoro's bewilderment. While leaving, he accidentally bumps into a strange person wanting to find members of the elf tribe. The elf sent on him has caught her attention. Sid looks at this elf girl's face and is astonished. This person looks very much like Alpha, but he just smiles, saying he does not know her. She immediately draws her sword, intending to slash him to test his heart. Sid reads this and immediately plays the familiar background character role. The woman, seeing this, no longer suspects, introduces herself as Beatrix, then quickly leaves. Outside, Anna Rose is watching the matches with Quentin. Both of them have watched the qualifiers of Mundane Man and feel this person may not be as weak as his appearance. Quentin thinks that Guy is cheating by using forbidden artifacts, but Anna Rose feels this person has unimaginably fast speed. Both are here to watch the next match between the undefeated myth Goldo the Gilded and Mundane Man to find the answer. Through their account we learn, Goldo the Gilded has a 100% win rate, because if he encounters an opponent with the ability to beat him, he will absolutely not fight and give up. This guy always fights people he is certain to beat, thereby climbing to a high ranking in the tournament. His strength is accurately seeing through the gap in a person's ability, so he has agreed to fight Mundane Man. Below, Goldo and Mundane Man have entered the arena. The information obtained from the two makes the match even more interesting. The referee just starts the match and Goldo has immediately charged up confidently. But this attack is easily dodged by Mundane Man, who even counterattacks in time. Mundane Man's attack is too fast. Even Anna Rose only catches a little bit. That right at the moment Goldo's sword is about to touch, Mundane Man has lightly tilted his neck. Quentin is shocked at what he heard, too illogical, tilting his neck at a speed of nearly less than 1 second. Goldo is almost driven crazy by Mundane Man and continuously provokes him. He immediately releases his power, shocking everyone. His real combat power is 4330. Goldo uses the super powerful Golden Dragon sword to rush and attack Sid, only to quickly be somehow sent flying by him. Everyone in the stands is bewildered, not understanding anything, only seeing Goldo lying flat on the ground, while Mundane Man leisurely wins and walks out of the arena. Quentin and Anna Rose both sense Goldo the Gilded is also a strong one, yet he also lost to Mundane Man. Turns out at the moment Goldo attacked with that extremely powerful strike, Anna Rose saw Mundane Man sneeze, then swing his sword up, aiming right at Goldo and sending him flying. Quentin feels if it is just a collision, then it is too strange. Anna Rose feels for Mundane Man. Defeating Goldo is too simple. Quentin does not believe Anna Rose's analysis. He wants to verify himself in the semifinal match, if Mundane Man can still advance. Anna Rose just asks herself whether she can do like Mundane Man or not, but the answer is surely no. At the royal capital, Iris shows Ketsu had the security plan for the main event of the upcoming Bushin tournament. But this one tells her that increasing security is unnecessary, because nothing will happen. The Emperor of Oriana completely leaves all decisions to Ketsuhat, almost making him have complete power in this place. Looking at the foolish face of the Oriana Emperor and his repetitive words, Iris also feels something is wrong with these two. At the Bushin tournament side, another person is defeated under the intentionally careless attacks of Mundane Man. That is Quentin. The spectators in the stands are shocked for the second time. Mundane Man just keeps advancing into the main event like that. Though they do not understand why he can win, but to get here cannot be by chance. Many people gradually want to bet on him in upcoming matches. According to the bracket, Mundane Man's first match in the main event will be against Anna Rose. Ignoring everyone's discussion, Hyoro here has become dirt poor from betting wrong, only knowing to painfully beg for rescue from Jaga. Mundane Man just leaves the fighting stage and meets Anna Rose, who has been waiting. She warns that she has seen through his movements, so the next match will not be like this anymore. Sid smiles and slowly approaches to perform his favorite act. He slowly takes off the heavy equipment weighing tons on his body as a warning to Anna Rose, then turns and leaves. Anna Rose even chases after wanting to show herself to him, but Mundane Man does not understand much, still leaving carelessly. Night comes, Rose is fighting against those chasing her. She only hits non-dangerous spots so as not to finish them off, then quickly continues to flee. These people still continue chasing her, calling that she will pay for what she has done. Rose keeps running forward, disappearing into the night. In the morning, Sid is recalling his performance in the previous battle when he hears a knock on the door. He boredly goes out, then hears Hyoro holding up a newspaper excitedly announcing a new way to make money. Turns out Student Council President Rose has been issued a wanted order. Whoever captures her alive will get 10 million zeni, and providing useful information will be rewarded 500,000 zeni. Hyoro wants to participate in this to make money, while Sid is not very excited. After all, he is the one who encouraged Rose to escape. At this moment, looking down from the window, Sid sees his sister lingering below, so he gets properly dressed and drags Hyoro along to execute the operation to hunt down the Student Council president. Claire at this moment still does not know anything and knocks on the dormitory wanting to find her younger brother. Sid and Hyoro together take the train to the city. On the way, the sound of piano music on the street makes Sid feel nostalgic. In his previous life, his parents also sent him to learn piano. And playing music is also very cool and fits the Shadow Lord image, so he was quite serious about piano for a long time. That piece is Kaladerda's Sonata No. 14, a piece Sid really likes, but he also wonders why this sonata exists in this world. This makes him once again question the existence of a second reincarnated person after himself. But when arriving at where the music is coming from, Sid is disappointed. It is just Epsilon. First Gamma, then Beta, and now Epsilon taking his knowledge to make money. Sid wants to curse. After the audience leaves, the two finally have a chance to talk together. Epsilon expresses this is her favorite piece among the songs Sid once taught her years ago. Thanks to this dark knowledge from Sid to become a composer and pianist, Epsilon has been able to establish relationships with quite a few powerful people. Hearing her take his music pieces to receive awards and be admired, Sid is also fed up, shameless to the extreme. Epsilon tells about being invited to the kingdom of Oriana to perform. This is a very good opportunity for her to carry out her work. Sid does not care much, asks her about Rose Oriana's situation. Because the matter is handled by Beta, Epsilon does not know the situation clearly, only knows that Student Council President has escaped underground below the royal capital. Sid hearing this quickly leaves, not forgetting to praise Epsilon's figure looking nice lately. On the way back, looking at the piano placed in the middle of the room, Sid seems to have come up with a new idea. At the underground station, Alexia thanks Beta for helping her and Iris get more information and looks forward to cooperating many more times. At a place underground, Alexia walks while speculating, thinking Don Ketsuhat is connected to the cult. Beta also says because this matter relates to religious and national issues, ordinary evidence cannot prove anything. Now knowing this cult is connected to the holy religion, they just need more reasons to convince the citizens and neighboring nations to declare the cult of Diabolos as heresy. Unfortunately, the Midgar Emperor is a conservative person who does not want conflict with the holy religion, often choosing to turn a blind eye. The two slowly go down to the basement. Alexia tells about the suspicious state of the Oriana king, always erratic and casual, as if having no thoughts. Beta just silently listens. Where they are standing is an entrance to the tunnel system below the royal capital, built long ago as an escape route for royalty, no different from a vast labyrinth. Possibly Student Council President Rose has run into the tunnel system, so Alexia wants to go down there with Beta to find her. Beta hearing this is speechless, interrogating Alexia whether she has informed anyone about what she is doing. And is she confident she can escape this labyrinth? Why keep doing things impulsively that could implicate others? Alexia does not care and continues walking. Beta for the mission accepts going along. Here, Rose is panting and slumping down, her body surrounded by blood. She recalls that day, her father appeared haggard and dazed, like a puppet being controlled. Beside him was Don Ketsuhat. The courtiers around also seemed abnormal. Before this situation, Rose did not hesitate to draw her sword and rush up to attack Ketsuhat, but he quickly dodged. The rest were just waiting for this, immediately announcing Princess Rose has rebelled and sending people in to surround her, so she had to escape. Before she escaped, Ketsuhat made a threat, demanding she surrender before the Bushin festival ends, otherwise both her father and others will perish. Rose has acted according to her fury and despair, escaping to this place. That Ketsuhat is just a pawn of the cult. Even if she kills him, Diabolos is still deeply rooted in the kingdom of Oriana. Rose hugs her chest, desperately feeling like giving up to sacrifice herself for the peace of others. At this moment she remembers the conversation with Sid before, who said he would always trust her. This very memory makes Rose want to have more faith. But a pain appears in her chest. Turns out she has been cursed by a demon. Right at the most desperate moment, suddenly the sound of a piano sonata rings out. Rose, as if enchanted, follows the direction of the music. She finds a location where Shadow is playing the piece under the mystical moonlight. Ending the piece, Rose cannot help but give Sid a round of applause and sincere praise. Shadow asks what Rose plans to do. Rose just says she wants to protect everyone, but perhaps she cannot anymore. Sid takes out his magic power and expresses if Rose still has the will to fight, he will give her power. Rose wants to change her future, immediately accepts it. Sid quickly uses his magic power to purify the demon curse for Rose, then says some cool words of an anti-hero character. After curing Rose, he leaves like a gust of wind. But right after, other black-cloaked ones appear, dogs of the cult of Diabolos. This time Rose is not desperate anymore. She raises her sword to attack. With just one strike, those executioners are all taken down. Rose also takes Shadow as her moonlight piercing the night, regarding him as an image to aspire to. Elsewhere in the tunnel, Alexia and Beta also sense that huge wave of magic power and run to search. The two, after walking for a while, quickly find Rose. Before Alexia's worry, Rose does not want them to be implicated. Just says she now has power and wants to resolve everything herself. Alexia reminds about their three-person alliance, but Rose still does not say a word. Alexia angrily wants to use force to make her speak, but Rose has now become stronger. The two continuously charge at each other. Beta just silently stands outside observing. Finally, in the dark dungeon, Rose carries the unconscious Alexia. She hands Alexia over then leaves. Beta just wishes Rose good luck. After all, their paths will intersect in the not too distant future. Rose immediately turns and leaves, leaving Beta sitting there with Alexia. Beta thinks to herself, this is Lord Shadow's choice. Outside Epsilon's music building, the piano has disappeared at some point. Above where light enters, Sid just returns feeling satisfied with his performance just now. Just arriving at the dormitory gate, Sid immediately meets his sister showing a gentle smile as if about to kill someone. In the dormitory room, Claire pins Sid on the bed, gently saying that waiting for him from morning to evening her desire to kill her younger brother has grown even larger. The two siblings talk lovingly with each other for a long while. Claire is very angry because Sid is always indifferent and ignores his promises to her. Sid about to die still calmly faces her. Claire only now releases her hand, takes out a ticket for a special seat at the Bushin tournament, wanting Sid to go there to watch and learn. Because of Rose's escape incident, his sister Claire has been chosen as replacement, becoming the representative of Midgar Magic Swordsman Academy at the tournament. Claire is confident she will be champion, so her requirement is Sid must go there to witness. The next day Alexia arrives at Beta's residence only to learn she moved away last week, but before leaving still left a stack of documents on the table. Inside are key enterprises, religious organizations of the Kingdom of Oriana, along with many other royal relationships. This is Beta's final intelligence tip before leaving. Outside there are fireworks celebrating the next competition day of the Bushin tournament. Alexia grips the sword in her hand tightly, calmly leaves this place. Outside the arena, the spectators have filled all seats in the stands. Thanks to Sister Claire, Sid gets to the Super VIP special seating area. Sid's seat happens to be near Alexia's sister, Iris. He plans to leave, but seeing Iris knows Claire and this seat is indeed his sister's, so Sid just has to go back and sit there. After settling into the seat, Iris apologizes to Sid for the Xenon Griffey incident before. Before the horrified gazes of everyone around, Sid just wants to disappear, having a famous character bow and apologize here, then what is left of the background character role. Mentioning his relationship with Alexia, Sid feels they are not really close friends or anything. Below the match has started. Iris especially pays attention to Anarose. After all, she is a former member of the Seven Swords of Belgada. Everyone also highly regards this person. Even so, Iris is not afraid. She sets the goal of winning the championship. At this moment, Sid interrupts to ask more about the contestants, especially about Mundane Man. The classmates with Iris do not take this person seriously, or do not rate this person highly, thinking he just got lucky getting here. Sid receiving these words is immediately secretly satisfied, successfully steering public opinion. At this moment Iris mentions the champion of the first Bushin festival. The holy sword of the elf tribe with the title War God has arrived at the royal capital. Who is Beatrix? Sid does not care much, quickly leaves with the excuse of going to the restroom. On the way, he meets Beatrix again. She asks about her relatives, but Sid still says he has not met them. The two share food with each other then quickly part ways. At this moment in the VIP room, Iris is sitting observing when Dome Ketsuhat walks in and sits beside her, right in Sid's spot. After a tense conversation, both look down at the arena where Anarose is preparing to compete. Both Ketsuhat and Iris highly rate this magic swordsman, but it seems the position of magic swordsman differs between the two kingdoms. Iris mentions the alliance of the two nations. Ketsuhat does not care much, asks her about Mundane Man, Anarose's opponent. Iris feels although this person does not seem strong at all, he has a characteristic the weak cannot have: absolute confidence, the look of certain victory. The Kingdom of Oriana looks down on swordsmanship, but Ketsuhat's sword technique is also not shabby. Both look towards the match below. Sword drawn from sheath, Anarose recalls what she observed before. Her opponent has absolute speed power, has not yet revealed full ability. Sword style is also messy. Right when the referee calls start, Anarose immediately uses speed to attack first, wanting to block Mundane Man's footwork, but he is quickly defended. Anarose has anticipated this. She quickly attacks continuously to prevent Mundane Man from deploying his speed, then a straight slash. But Anarose's powerful attack is easily dodged by Mundane Man. He appears behind her like a phantom showing a smile. But right when Anarose turns around, Mundane Man immediately changes position, also sends her flying far with one sword strike. The second and third sword strokes, Mundane Man spins Anarose like a pinwheel, throwing her from high and sending her crashing to the ground. What is more terrifying is those attacks just now did not use magic power. If they did, she absolutely could not survive. This shows the weak-looking opponent is not ordinary at all, unreasonably strong. Anarose calculates, if all strength and speed are far surpassed, the only thing she can use is... Everyone in the stands does not understand what Anarose plans to do, while Ketsuhat vaguely realizes. Mundane Man uses speed wanting to hit her from behind. Anarose immediately seizes this golden moment to turn and counterattack. But in that fraction of a second, Mundane Man has lightly dodged her sword strike, also quickly strikes back. Match ends, Anna Rose lies on the ground. Mundane Man once again wins. In the VIP room, Iris and Ketsuhat are both surprised by Mundane Man's power and speed, also suspicious of his strange sword style. The next match will be between Iris and Mundane Man, but she is still confident that with that much, she can still dominate and expose that person's true ability. Ketsuhat watches Iris's back leaving and also quickly leaves the room. He orders subordinates to investigate more about the one named Mundane Man. Also speculates that Sid aka Mundane Man is someone from the underworld. Subordinates worry that Mundane Man is from the Shadow Garden organization, but Ketsuhat feels this probability is impossible. He just wants to eliminate all talents, no matter where they are from. Sid is leaving when Anna Rose calls him back. She admits her defeat and thanks Mundane Man for giving her a new lesson. Sid also shows respect by shaking hands with her. Anna Rose wants to ask about his way of becoming stronger. Mundane Man just thinks only fools throw away everything to pursue power. Anna Rose wants to recruit Mundane Man to Belgada, but he still refuses and turns to leave. This makes Anna Rose regard him even more as a goal to aspire to. In the distance is the kid Hyoro being thrown out for losing all money gambling. In the next match, Iris quickly uses absolute power to dominate her opponent and advances. She just turns to leave when she encounters Beatrix here. Iris immediately chases after her. Ending the competition day of the tournament, Sid is satisfied returning home, feeling thanks to Anna Rose he can achieve 70% of his purpose at this Bushin tournament. Sid's goal is to be champion, but if fighting Princess Iris it will be very climactic. He wants to defeat her then end his role. While thinking up the script for tomorrow, Sister Claire once again appears at the dormitory door with a saintly smile. Sid only now remembers, forgot to watch his sister's match again. Elsewhere, in an abandoned ruin, Rose is temporarily living there, seemingly preparing for the upcoming battle. At night, Iris is still diligently practicing swordsmanship. In the past, she had also shown her talent and was admired by everyone. In the process of growing up, she also continuously achieved great successes and awards. When entering the Night Order, the praises of the citizens also kept ringing out. Iris remembers the incident at the royal capital that day. The woman reminded her to just be a spectator, or the incident at school where she could not do anything. Then when something happened at the Holy Domain, her father also asked her not to act rashly. Her father advised her not to put the country in danger just to prove herself right. Iris grits her teeth and continues practicing. She wants to prove to everyone that she has strength through victory at the Bushin tournament. The next day of the tournament is a rainy day. Sid is enjoying the VIP position when Iris comes to sit with him. Seeing Sid drinking coffee, Iris expresses she also wants to try, but does not like the bitter taste. Sid shows her a way, just add sugar and milk to the coffee. Iris does exactly that. She enjoys the coffee deliciously. At this moment in the VIP room, Beatrix is being stopped by security. Iris comes over to introduce, this is War God Beatrix. She is the one who invited this elf girl here. Those in the room after knowing who she is immediately crowd over wanting to get close. Beatrix suddenly mentions Sid, saying she feels he will definitely become strong. Everyone does not believe much, comparing him to his sister Claire. Hearing their whispers, Sid realizes these people also do not believe in Beatrix's strength much, but he does not care. On this side, Ketsuhat is pouring some kind of medicine into the Oriana Emperor's mouth, turning him into an obedient puppet, then orders subordinates to use perfume to mask the medicine's smell. Ketsuhat wants to find some kind of key, but because the Emperor firmly refuses to hand it over, he can only target Rose, his daughter. It is Ketsuhat himself who caused Rose's body to be cursed by a demon for the cult's experiment. The two quickly proceed to the tournament. Ketsuhat is also not worried if Rose does not return. If so, he will control this Emperor to kill the Midgar Emperor, causing war and weakening Oriana. The two emperors meet and will watch the match in a VIP room with everyone. This makes Ketsuhat's plan more favorable than ever, especially with Iris fighting below. Thinking of Mundane Man, Ketsuhat feels this one is definitely someone from the underworld with formidable status, needs to be very careful. While thinking, when he and the Oriana Emperor pass by Beatrix, she immediately smells an unpleasant scent. But everyone just thinks it is an ordinary insult. Beatrix's appearance makes Ketsuhat's plan to assassinate the Midgar Emperor seem unable to operate smoothly. But he quickly stays calm, because he still has the Rose card in hand. If he cannot kill Midgar, then just continue exploiting the Oriana family. Below on the fighting stage, Claire is performing excellently and winning against her opponent. The next match is about to take place. Iris slowly walks to the fighting stage before everyone's cheers and praises. But these very praises are the motivation and goal helping her continue. Iris's opponent is Mundane Man. Though she feels this person is very strong through previous matches, he is not an unbeatable opponent. The referee starts the match. Iris immediately wants to give full effort from the start, so the opponent has no chance to show anything. But in just 1 second, Iris's head has fallen off her body. She collapses before Mundane Man. Actually, that is just an illusion. Iris just retreats in shock, then is sent flying. Though terrified, before the eyes of so many people in the stands, Iris continues to stand up, draw her sword, and continue fighting. Another illusion appears. Iris realizes this realistic feeling is because the entire fighting stage is within Mundane Man's sword range. On top of the competition building, Rose has snuck in easily. While everyone is focusing on the fighting stage, inside the building, a group of Cult of Diabolos people have arrived, but have also been assassinated at some point. Looking at the bound courtiers, Rose turns around in shock. Sure enough, people from the Shadow Garden organization have arrived. Epsilon just advises Rose to continue and complete her mission. Below in the arena, the illusions of being slashed continuously appear, making Iris unable to focus on attacking. The fake feeling of pain makes her collapse, but with her judgment, Iris knows this is not tricks using artifacts, but personal skill. In the stands, everyone's whispered words about her make Iris go crazy. She reminds herself not to stop. A huge wave of magic power surrounds. Iris holds her sword and charges forward. But right when about to charge, Iris is shocked to realize Mundane Man is not holding a sword at all. It is some small movements on the opponent's body that caused her the illusion that this person is holding a sword. Right at that moment, Mundane Man easily uses his hand to block her sword strike, then turns to dominate her beneath him. In just an instant, Mundane Man has put a sword to Iris's neck, reminding her that everything has just begun. In the sky, raindrops fall, blending with everyone's disappointed sounds. The Midgar Emperor sighs and leaves his seat. Ketsuhat is shocked at the current situation on the fighting stage, also shocked at Mundane Man's strength. Right at this moment, Rose slowly appears before everyone. Ketsuhat ignores the fighting stage below, gleefully controls the Emperor to come forward. Rose bows to apologize before the Emperor. The Emperor, though controlled like a puppet, still says words of forgiveness to his daughter. This shocks Ketsuhat. Just waiting for this, Rose immediately holds her sword and charges up. But Ketsuhat has taken the Emperor out to shield himself. Her sword slashes through the Emperor. She has finished off her own father. Ketsuhat is extremely furious that Rose dares to kill his puppet and mess up his plan. Seeing Rose wanting to finish herself off, Ketsuhat immediately orders subordinates to stop her. But right at this moment, Mundane Man suddenly charges up from the fighting stage, slashing all those cult subordinates. Mundane Man now slowly returns to his true form, Shadow. He has not even had time to announce his name when Rose suddenly says, "You are the stylish thug slayer," Sid's name from episode 1. Years ago, it was Sid who saved Rose from the kidnappers with this name. He is also the motivation for Rose to follow the path of swordsmanship. Sid also does not remember much about this memory, while Rose, thanks to him, has been able to come to today. Sid in the role of Shadow orders Rose to hold her head high and continue with her battle. Rose looks at her deceased father, immediately holds her sword and turns to leave. Ketsuhat wanting to chase is blocked by Sid. The other subordinates have also been dealt with by the Shadow Garden girls. Beatrix suddenly charges forward, swinging her sword at Shadow. The two sword waves collide, creating a huge force. Ketsuhat takes this opportunity to escape. Rewinding time to a few minutes before, Iris is still shocked at Mundane Man's domination. Sid sees Rose has appeared in the stands and quickly stands up, leaves the match and returns to his shadow identity. Iris, seeing everything, recalls all events, from the royal capital incident, school, then Holy Land to now, all because of this Shadow. On this side, Shadow and Beatrix are having a battle with each other. The citizens outside are bewildered. The Midgar Emperor orders everyone to evacuate citizens to safety. Ketsuhat has immediately gotten on a carriage to return straight to the kingdom of Oriana. The Oriana Emperor's body is carefully arranged and sent back to the land he ruled. Before the current situation, sparking a war is very possible. But darkness has always appeared behind history since ancient times, and Midgar will prepare for it. On this side, Beatrix and Sid are still fighting. It seems Sid is the one with the advantage, while Beatrix only knows to defend against his speed. Right at this moment, Iris also appears with the holy sword that appeared at the Holy Domain. She wants to join the battle with the two. Sid, seeing this, just smiles. Did not expect Princess Iris to need to rely on artifacts. These words have directly touched Iris's pride. She immediately charges up with her sword. But Sid still easily dodges everything with his terrifying speed. Sid dodges Beatrix's attacks while fighting back against Princess Iris, creating an earth-shattering battle in the air. On this side, Claire is still trying to find her younger brother. In an alley corner, Rose is thinking of ways to deal with Ketsuhat's forces and protect the kingdom when a voice appears beside her, giving her two choices. On this side, Sid, Iris and Beatrix are still having a very fun threesome. Sid even has the chance to use his favorite weapon, the crowbar, again. The three fight wherever they go, creating large explosions there, finally dragging each other onto a certain train. On this side, Alpha stands before Rose, giving her two choices. One is to fight alone, and two is to fight together with the Shadow Garden organization. Rose only cares whether they can help her save the royal capital Oriana or not. Alpha frankly says they will not act for her at present. If Rose wants to save her homeland, she must prove her value first. Whether the kingdom can be saved depends on herself. Rose recalls everything that has happened. She says sorry to her father and chooses the option to go with the Shadow Garden organization. On this side, Iris becomes more agitated because she cannot defeat this Shadow. Beatrix wonders if she has met Shadow somewhere before. Sid does not care much. He leaves the train in the astonishment of both, landing at a certain river. Then after, attacks using water are continuously thrown out. The technique of blood-sucking demons. Iris dodges, then charges up to attack. After playing with swords, then playing with magic. This time Sid decides to use physical attacks, smashing her straight down into the water. Iris being defeated, then Beatrix charges up. This time she has broken Sid's crowbar. Iris is furious underwater watching the two fight. Elsewhere, Anna Rose does not participate in the battle, but chooses to leave with beautiful memories of mundane man. On this side, after a while of fighting, Beatrix has become familiar with Sid's fighting style. Sid is about to use magic power when right at this moment, Iris once again chases after them, using the Holy Sword's power to destroy everything. Sid sighs that this family, both sister and younger sister, are like mad dogs. He quickly deflects both girls' sword strikes. Sid reminds them that borrowed power will not be able to do anything. Iris at this moment wants to use her life to hold Sid down for Beatrix to finish him. She charges up, then is easily kicked away by Sid. Beatrix also arrives and both are beaten to a pulp by his extremely powerful leg pin. Sid holds a sword in his hand preparing to leave, but those two girls still do not want to let go. Right at this moment, knights from the entire royal capital are being mobilized here. The entire kingdom of Midgar will now treat Shadow as enemy number one. Sid hearing this just smiles in the confusion of both. Then right after, a familiar purple magic power source surrounds the entire royal capital. Sid stands high declaring this game is over. Elsewhere, within the magic power's influence, Alexia slowly practices swordsmanship. She still wants to continue pursuing her path of swordsmanship. Before absolute power, Beatrix and Iris can only stand and watch. Right when preparing a finishing blow for everything, suddenly all the past returns in his mind, including the boy Kajino from his previous life. Immediately, a large amount of magic power is recalled in just a short second. Iris opens her eyes in shock, but now the knight has disappeared, along with Shadow having left. This makes Iris even more furious. She cries and screams in pain. Beatrix just silently stands there watching her. Thus, news is published in the papers with information. The demon Shadow has appeared at the royal capital and was defeated by Princess Iris and Beatrix, the traitor who killed the Oriana Emperor. Princess Rose's whereabouts are still unknown. The secret organization Shadow Garden has not been clarified. The Night Order has mobilized forces to investigate the entire matter, but still no results. Sherry elsewhere in the world is still continuously updating information about Shadow. It seems her target is him. Elsewhere, Ketsuhat is reprimanded by his superior for not completing the mission. Ketsuhat quickly says as long as the royal family is still in the cult's hands, when Oriana is experiencing so much turmoil as now, Rose will not be able to ignore it and will appear soon. The superior hearing this reminds Ketsuhat not to disappoint the organization. A new day passes at the royal capital. Hyoro has packed all luggage demanding to go back to his hometown to earn money to pay debts. Nearby Iris also comes to the train station to see Beatrix off. Beatrix comforts the princess not to be too desperate about the present. The train moves. Beatrix looks out the window. Though she did not find the person she was looking for and encountered some things, at least there were some happy things. On the Mitsugoshi Trading Company side, Gamma is still operating as a normal businesswoman. Everyone in another room is satisfied with the current situation. The Night Order is still desperately hunting Lord Shadow, and Shadow uses himself as bait to lock down the kingdom of Midgar's actions, preventing them from interfering in Oriana's political upheaval. Outside, everyone in the organization is still operating as normal people, while inside they continuously search and expand the next operations. Until the day of returning to class, Sid again blends with the crowd starting a new semester. Hearing everyone discuss the Bushin tournament and the demon Shadow, Sid feels this Shadow role is too prominent, needs to hide in the shadows more. Rose has now moved to the territory of the Kajino Barony, also Sid's home. Alpha slowly leads Rose to the organization's territory. Through Alpha's account we learn, Lord Shadow once fought the mist dragon behind the mountain and became the ruler of this land. Passing through the mist, Rose is shocked looking at the scene before her, where a super huge shadow statue has been built. Alpha introduces this is the ancient capital city Alexandria, also the base of Shadow Garden. Alpha leaves Rose with someone named Lambda, asking this person to train Rose, then quickly leaves. Lambda receiving orders gives Rose the number 666, then groups her with the two girls numbered 664 and 665. Lambda uses magic power to tear Rose's sleeves and reminds her, currently she is nobody, needs to throw away everything and become a pure soldier. Rose, seeing the candy wrapper reminding her of Sid also torn away, is extremely pained and cries, but this is the path she chose. Returning to the tunnel, Shadow plays Sonata number 14 once more. His plan is going well, hiding in the shadows and doing what needs to be done, preparing for the moment of awakening. Finishing the piece and saying some cool lines, Sid satisfyingly leaves, continuing to prepare the script for his next performance.